Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday night, August 28th broadcast. I am DavidSnedeker, and I'm glad to be with you tonight. I've been away for a minute with some illness and some busyness. And so I'm glad to be back with you tonight. And so welcome one and all. We're over on Rumble at The Indoctrination, no space. The Indoctrination on Rumble. We got 250 over there. We got 280 over here in Rumble and some of the other platforms. So please share this out. Please give it a thumbs up. Do all the good stuff that helps push us up the totem pole, if you will. We've got a really, really exciting show for you, my friends, because of the amount of things that have been happening. But also just in the sense that you're not going to get just one insight tonight. You're going to get also the insight of a friend of mine who's I've gotten to know through Q, through social media, and we are looking forward to coming to you tonight and bringing with us the insight from just being awake for many, many years, and also just the daily dives and digs that we do for y'all. So without further ado, my friends, please welcome Skriptkeeper. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, bro?
Good to see you.
Oh man, I'm running. I'm in Florida. It's hot down here, man.
Yeah, I hear you. Texas, ain't too chilly, I tell you.
I can tell you at 8 o'clock at night, it's like 90 degrees down here.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what it is here, but it's been somewhat of a respite here. 85 here, 85.
Yeah,
You got Dragon there with you?
Yeah. Deezy's hanging, man. Say what's up, Deez.
Nice. Is it Dragon? I got a buddy. No, Deezy.
Diesel.
Right. I got a buddy who's got a dragon that looks just like that, by the way.
He's just going to keep sitting here looking at me and saying, thank you for picking me up. Is that right? Thanks for picking me up.
Mine seemed to know when I went live because he started barking after I'd been out with him, playing, throwing the ball for him and all that. Yeah, I'm going to make this a little bigger there.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited to have you. I've been wanting to, I've been, watching the stuff that's been the crazy crap that's been going on. And I've been wanting to I've had your back as much as I could, just kind of sharing on X, but I haven't gone since Thursday.
Oh yeah, it's been hectic, man. It got really I take it to another level. I kind of I treat it like we're at war, and that's what it is. Sometimes it turns into a war, and especially with the way they come for you. They start gaslighting you first, and then after the gaslighting, then they try to take these little cheap shots and run with people like they normally don't run with, and it's like, okay, cool, man, do what you got to do, but just remember, I'm going to respond and I'm going to come hard. I'm going to research, and then I'm going to send the anons to dig into your background.
So, what comes to mind is, we see, okay, there's substance, and then there's lack of substance. And what we're seeing with the media, the mainstream media, Hollywood, music, and how they attack Trump and how they attack Q, try to discredit without question. Oh, Trump's he's a rapist. He's this, he's, just horrible, horrendous things.
Yeah.
And Q's a LARP, and it's a big psyop and all this. And then you get RFK coming into the picture. And he's, I go back with Bobby, we've never met, but we know a lot of the same people. We fought the same war back in California for jab, to be able to choose if your children gets a jab and all that kind of stuff, rather than forced jabs from childhood. I got to be careful because we're on Hawk's Facebook and YouTube tonight.
Am I coming up as YouTube too? Because I signed in to YouTube.
No, it's just that's your sign in.
Okay,
But
all right. I was making sure.
I would like to the next time we do this to get your channels set up ahead of time, and
Okay,
then we could go live on both our channels.
back and forth. Yeah, that'd be
And
cool.
I meant to do that last time. And so you got RFK coming out, and I want to hear your thoughts on all that. But what I've seen with him over the years is how they just simply try to discredit his character
Yeah,
because they can't say anything to his substance. Okay.
yeah. I
He
mean,
go ahead. Go ahead.
it's tough with RFK because of CHD, and then a lot of the things that he's involved in, like grassroot wise in New York. Um,
Mhm.
he's There's a lot of things that some people would say like, oh, well, they infiltrated, but you never hear RFK coming out and saying it. But I guess it's the organization.
Yeah, I
So,
think there's been some issues with the organization, but the organization was able to sue and find out in court that there have been absolutely zero safety studies for any of the jabs,
oh yeah,
any of them from the word go. So, I mean, he's doing some quality work, is what I'm getting at, and he's been doing it a long time. And the only defense they have of him is to discredit him.
yeah,
And I've seen, you know, Michelle Moore and Mike Gill and Crash and D Booma do the same thing to you and I.
hmm,
And because they have to try to chip away at our character and our past rather than
the
the
message.
substance that we're bringing to the table for people to look at.
Yeah,
That's all. We're saying, hey, listen, we got to challenge these people just like we're challenging, Rachel Maddow, or just like we're challenging, some of the other people on air, Fox News.
hmm,
We're very critical of these people like Fox that many of us were once fond of, but now we're completely critical. We're even going to the critical level of challenging people like Shapiro and his whole organization, because we saw how he reacted during CV. We saw how he reacted with Israel and Gaza, and so people are exposing themselves, and so we're supposed to be challenging everybody. But what's important to understand is that when they have no attack on your substance, you go live almost every day. You always bring something like fresh, except when you're dealing with those jackasses, right? And
correct.
then it's like some of it's rehashing the same old shit, but you're bringing fresh content. I always try to bring, fresh content, but have a perspective of it that anybody can go on X and get all the great feeds and get all this kind of, the download of information, right?
Yeah,
What people are looking for is they want to see what Skript has to say about it. They want to see what Sned's got to say about it, right? Because we have this perspective of being anons, being in this fight for as long as we have. And so I just wanted to kind of I didn't, want to dominate so much with talking at the opening here, because I want to
no,
hear from you. But I just wanted to lay that framework of how they have to attack you, and it has nothing to do with the message that you're putting out now, whereas what we're bringing to the table is the foundation of the story that Mike Gill comes to the table with every single interview is bullshit.
it never changes. It's a script. To me, it's
Yeah.
a script. Like they rehearse it. Hit it, Ron. Hit it, Ron. Hit it, Ron. And they put it up. It's the same fucking thing. We've seen it like a million times. What's the solution? You're making fun of us because we're sitting here going over and telling people, giving them
Yep.
reassurances by confirming dates, confirming things that happen, chronological sequence, and we show it. They don't know it, they don't see it, and then
Mm.
if they did see it and then they try to debunk it, then that means that they don't got that mustard seed anymore. That, like, that mustard seed is gone. They don't have that unshakable faith. They're not dealing with it no more. Like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, Skript, why are you challenging this one? Why are you calling out Flynn? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing? Because there were things that were red flags to me. So you call it out. But I wasn't saying, oh, well, you know, General Flynn, you know, he's horrible to his wife. And I didn't care about that. I cared about what Obama did when he was in it. Why did he say he have great friends at the FBI? Why was he working with Russia and then not telling Trump that he made this phone call? And then that's why he got fired. So these were questions that should have been brought to light. And then everybody's like, well, the Q board say that General Flynn is a patriot and You're not supposed to. We're supposed to question everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. So, you know, what I've been dealing with the way that Gil has come at me. He's like, oh, he's got a past. He's a criminal. He robbed banks. Like, first of all, the banking industry is illegal. It's illegal banking activities that they do on us. That's number one. Yeah. Everything that they've ever done for us, giving us mortgages, giving us, tax liens, foreclosures on houses, snatching people's houses up because they're paying a tax that they already paid on the tax. Mm-hmm. And technically, you could literally lift your house up and remove it from the land, and the bank can't do shit because they only have the deed to the land. That's what they can go after. But, you know, he wouldn't say any of that. And like Mike wouldn't say any of that shit because he's so 3D and so surface level. That's all he knows. He doesn't look at it like we look at it.
Well, you know he's a part of it, too. He was a part of it. He was a big part of it. By his own, you know, words. And, you know, here's one of the things that I've said is that when you understand what happened in 2008 with the mortgage, the housing crisis and the huge crash that ruined many, many, many people's lives. And you're saying that you were writing the most mortgages of anybody in the country, that I'd leave that off your resume. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They were doing cutthroat shit, those mortgage brokers, especially in 2008. Do you remember the rates people were getting in like 2008 and like 2006 going in? It was horrible. People were getting robbed left and right. And you're bragging, I'm at the height of it. It reminds me of fucking, what's that guy's name? Archie Bunker. That's what he reminds me of. Archie Bunker, bro.
Hey, I just saw a meme where supposedly Archie Bunker was 44 years old. And I got so depressed. I was like, oh man,
you look like 90. Oh,
I know, right?
he found out about Q back then.
Yeah, right. Right.
Gray hairs.
Well, you know, you bring up a good point. When I was doing my research on Gil for that expose, and I was talking to so many of the people that have had him on and have interacted with him. None of them were Q people. And none of them were Anons. And they all look at Q as a LARP and a joke. And what that told me is that it opened them up for looking for a solution. And that's how Gil has slipped through the door with all his bullshit, is he finds the people that are desperately looking for a solution. And that's the problem I have with all the grifters, is that you have people that are honestly looking for solutions. Okay. And, you know, it's just taking advantage of people when they're down is one of the worst traits I think any other human could possibly espouse. And that's exactly what I see, you know, with him and with Michelle and, you know, and the people that support him and have not answered the questions that I've posed, have not answered the questions that, you know, the receipts.
That's crazy. Those are receipts and they're great questions. Like, so I sat there and I see it and you see me, I retweet it. Each time you put it up, I repost it because that's what should be there. It should be there for them to see it. And the thing is like I had Patrick, who's in here, and a few other people that were in there, and they were giving great receipts when we were.
Yeah, hey Patrick, thanks for that. You're doing some great work there.
Yeah, like going hard. and there would be receipt after receipt. So I would tag Boomer and Crash. I can't tag Mike Gill because he blocked me after he challenged me to a debate.
Right.
Like, how am I supposed to, and then he's sitting there screenshotting my stuff, and then he puts a rebuttal above it. So I'm like, I'm going to have to go get my backup account, go jump in there, screenshot his stuff, then go back and do it. And then once he's seen that made him irate because he wasn't in control no more. That's the way he controls his narrative. He blocks everybody, and some people don't have backup accounts. They got no way of seeing what Mike Gill's saying, about them.
Right.
So I was like, no, you're not going to get that one over me, man. Like, I'm not stupid. I've been dealing with algorithms and bots since like 2018, 2019. So we're going to go at this the best way we can. And I'm going to say some uncivilized, shocking, dirty, I say shit that makes you want to leave your house, get in your car and drive to my house. That's the shit I do when you go at me, because if you're attacking my message, then you'll give me a chance to come in with the debate. Because I've awakened a lot of people, you've awakened a lot of people, and we spent hours. I mean, on Instagram, I didn't have Rumble, but Instagram, I went live for 1 to 3 hours a day, maybe 5 times a day when I wasn't working on Instagram every day.
Wow.
Like clockwork. So, and I lost.
I would just do one, but it would be 5 hours.
Well, yeah, then it added up to mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy that like people don't see that Mike Gill just keeps fear porning them. There's no solution. At least I tried to bring my friend Mighty Fuzz on. Mighty Fuzz, and then he's with the du jour. Not the same as Mickey Clan and all these other du jours and all that. They're in New York. I've seen them do the footwork. I've seen them file the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? And actually hold Alvin Bragg and these people, accountable. And they're
Tell me about. Let's get into that. I really want to hear like
too much of the details. I just give a little bit, but because it's still ongoing or whatever. But like what they do is basically they want to make the chair that these representatives sit in powerless. Like they have to, bow down to us. They took the oath. They're not a civilian no more. You took an oath to that office. Once you get to that chair, it holds power. Now, you should be able to hear our concerns, hear what bothers us as we the people. If you choose to ignore what we're telling you, their main goal is to make you not ever think like that ever again. Like, get rid of the people that were doing that, hold them accountable, and to the point where they get removed. And then if that happens, then they'll think twice about really trying to take a shit on we the people. They'll say, oh man, I can't do this. But it's been done. There's a lot of people that are in the du jours that do the 80% and they don't give you the 20% on how to execute. So, but it takes a lot of work. You don't need a lawyer. You can do it yourself. Any of us could do it. Any of us.
Are they doing, are they doing color of law?
Yeah. So some of it, but not all of it. It's just basically we're a constitutional republic. You're going to respect that constitution. And, some people say, oh, well, we're on the corporate constitution. Yeah, I get that. That works for the corporations. But when it comes to the seats, they're individuals that are responsible for their seat, their district, their county, and all of that. So it's basically holding them accountable for, their oath. You hold their oath, you pull their oath on them. And that's it. That's what it comes down to. And there's a lot of people that did take the oath going in. Like, remember Bill de Blasio, right? So Bill de Blasio, William Wilhelm.
Yeah.
Research on him.
By the way, who eats half of half fries and then puts it back on the fucking plate?
I eat my whole, that's it. It's destroyed. I touch it, the food's gone.
It was so scripted. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's basically like Bill de Blasio, and he was like, he's like, oh, and we'll get you this vaccine, and we'll get you this cheeseburger. You'll get this nice, fresh cheeseburger. Like, you're a fucking joke. Like, seeing that, and then there was people at like, oh my God, they're going to give us a cheeseburger. Then they were offering like, 1-year memberships to strip clubs. Like, it was stupid what they were doing, but it was like making
donuts.
Yeah, they're making fun of us like we're peons, So New York is like a totally different. It's a different level where those people, because you had the Cheesecake Six, a lot of them are part of that too. They got locked up for not having a vaccine passport, not having a mask on. The cops locked them up, and they just wanted to eat. They didn't do nothing wrong. They just sat in a restaurant. So that was unconstitutional. That was against the law. You know, these mandates. They're like, well, it's a mandate. You have no. That's an authoritative command. A mandate is not law. None of that is law. Mandate is like Big Mike and Obama going out. That's a mandate.
Yes.
You know.
So are they getting traction?
Yeah, they're getting traction, but it's a lot of fight and it's a lot of intimidation. It's a lot of you watch Sal Greco?
No.
Sal Greco is a former NYPD officer who's outing the NYPD, Eric Adams, and all their illegal activities. John McCarry is another former NYPD. They're like lieutenants, or I forget their exact positions, but they've been outing them out and, you know, exposing them, you know, what they do in New York. So they throw these big parties, they get away with everything. But at the same time, remember, it's always intimidation. That's what the government is. The government is intimidation on we, the people. So you step up and you speak up, and what do? They take your account from you. So now you're scared, like, oh, shit, I got to watch what I say when I make my next account. So you get to the point you threw 100 accounts and you're like, I don't care no more. Like, just take the accounts and make another one. So you have to get to that point. So I think more or less, I did the podcast with Fuzz. It was my last podcast. He explains it and drops it down. If anybody wants to go watch it, it's on my Rumble page. And he breaks down just the simplicity of it and what they do.
What's your Rumble page?
It's just Skriptkeeper. Skriptkeeper. And it's the orange background. I think I got like 5,000 followers or something like that.
Cool. I got it up there.
But that's the thing though. Like even that, you know, that's new. So think about it, right? So that's new. So you think about these people that are out here that like, we have to do this. Trump has to open the Pandora's box. They already opened the Pandora's papers. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like all the stuff that he has, like if I had any damaging intel on anything, I don't care if they kill me. It's coming out. I will go to every outlet. I will drive to Texas. I'll drive to DC. I'll drive everywhere, getting that info into everybody's hands. I'm not going to email it because, you know, they email it, they'll scrub it. I'm going to put it on, you know, terabytes. Everybody's going to get a terabyte. Boom, 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 boom. Here's the intel. And that's it. I'm going to get it to everybody. With this whole thing, they're threatening him to kill him. They're going to kill him and take him out. He's done. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Oh, we lost you. You're on mute, brother.
Thank you. I had to do it. My dog came up with a squeaker. So the I was just sharing on the indoctrination. See, I don't know. I think you've seen it, but I have not just the questions for Gil and Michelle, but all of the research that I did, all the links, all the pictures and everything. And that's on the indoctrination. It's hard to put it into X or anywhere else because it's like a you know,
it's a big video, right? How long is it?
It's the receipts that accompany the video.
How many receipts?
Well, I'll show you.
Because there is a way to do it. We could work off of each other and post off of each one. We just number everything and we'll make a thread. And as we make the thread, we'll blast it off. And then I'll start tagging people like old school days on Facebook. I'll just start tagging everybody that's got a big account. So
that'd be great.
We'll just destroy Mike and just end them.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's like I'm done with these fucking people. And if they can't continue on with this shit, they're going to I'm going to go to the next level. And I'm talking about we'll do a show with Darren Day with I'm down with that. You know, all these people that he had a problem with. Wait a minute, that's not what I wanted to show.
You know, there was a few people that reached out to me from New Hampshire, and I guess they're the grassroots movement. And they were like, yeah, we'll tell you about Mike Gill being around grassroots movement and, you know, all the real people that are, you know, out there protesting and putting in the work. and how he was, because I know how he is, man. He's a narcissist, man.
Oh, absolutely. So this is I call it Defamation Nation, and this is all the people I reached out to. The people mentioned below vary on many issues, but have two things in common. None of them charge for any of their content, to Snedeker's understanding, with the exception of Brendan O'Connell's Patreon. And two, they've tried to help Mike Gill. After experiencing him, they all share a deep disdain for Mike Gill and his deception, and will never help him or interact with him again. This was like literally 3 weeks of miserable research, because everybody I talked to, everybody I communicated with was like, that motherfucker, that son of a bitch, that I have never visited so many burning bridges in my life. Script. Okay.
Yeah.
Aaron Day had this in January, had this Spaces on X, which I have a link here for. And also Defiant Till I Die. They had incredible Spaces in two of the largest Facebook, like grassroots Facebook groups from New Hampshire. Watched that and took everything of Gill's off their Facebook page. Like they were, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I mean, Aaron Day's wife.
Most of the time, the people, even me, I only listen to one side about Mike Gill. I didn't go and do, like look to see if he was bad. I'm like, oh, whistleblower, oh, boom, because it just got pushed on me, and I started listening, and I'm thinking Pandora's box, Pandora's papers. He's saying stuff that I already knew. Like these were things that I already knew. Like like when he was saying he was calling out people, I had already called these people out. There was people that he talked about. Like we already went through this and broke down and did deep dives into these people. So at the same time, I should have questioned it, but because I trusted certain people, I just let it go. And then I introduced it on Instagram. I introduced him to my whole audience. I had 30,000 on Instagram. I was showing, and like, yo, check this out, check that out. And then, I should have did my part. So I was at fault for not doing my part. But at the same time, he's very kind of like that. As long as you don't question his intel and you don't ask questions. Oh, he thinks you're great. Oh, great guy. Right. Yeah, I want to do a live with him. And yeah. My ass.
So Patrick Howley, I communicated with Patrick Howley. He was the one who discovered the Ashley Biden diary. He broke that. Johnny Cerrucci had miserable experience. He tried to raise money for Mike, and Mike, said that he stole money from him, which he didn't. He was trying to raise money, he and his wife. And so this is all links to like Johnny's video on it. Brendan O'Connell helped raise 40,000 for Mike Gill with, both of these were two separate GoFundMe campaigns.
Yep.
And then he claims he doesn't ask for money. And the people that are trying to help him with money publicly, he denounces. Meanwhile, Michelle is paying him under the table and paying his rent. He told me as much. And, she's now claiming she doesn't pay him. If she doesn't pay him or give him like half of what she earns, there's a real disservice to Mike Gill on that, because he's given her an audience. She's got nothing without him.
It's all his intel.
Yeah.
Right.
They all confirmed he was never offered $50 million. So I have all that information. Patrick Howley, Epoch Times journalist, Epoch Times actually said, hey, go check out this guy, see if there's anything there. He never gave Howley the information. They never gave it to me. Howley says he was never offered $50 million. FCB, I don't know this cat, but he did a story because Gill screwed him over. And he tells the story about all the ex-workers from his jobs, the mortgage specialist. By the way, folks, if you want to screenshot these, you don't have to go to Telegram. And then Aaron Day also gave me information that Gill was $3.5 million in debt before they came out with the $274 million settlement case on him. And they've only collected $1 million. And he tells the story as if it's, hey, no. You don't just take shit. Come here. He's just grabbing shit and going and chewing on it, you know? Yeah, he was in debt, man. They've only got $1 million from him. The whole international consortium of investigative journalists who cracked the Pandora Papers. I communicated with Fergus Shield, who is the editor, okay, of this group of people who had, bent over backwards, 280 journalists.
Yep, I
that
know.
cracked this thing.
Like, holy shit! I went through it because it went to the Panama. It went to the Panama Papers. Like the whole thing was so far connected. I mean, I did lives on the Pandora Papers. Like I was, Panama Papers into the Pandora Papers.
Yeah.
Like all that shit is connected. And when we were doing these lives, people were like, where'd you get this from? I'm like, yo, this just came out. And I never heard of Mike Gill. I never heard of State of Corruption. None of that shit. And I'm on the internet, believe me. Like I'm researching all types of stuff. So his name should have popped right up in there. If he had anything to do with it, it should have popped right up in there. It didn't.
And by the way, folks, we're not going to stay on this topic long.
We're going to switch up soon.
Yeah, we're going to switch it up. But I just wanted to show everybody and that this is, we're not assassinating character here. We're not trying to pull up, crap. We're just trying to, he gets angry. You know what? Skript getting angry on a post. You got a fucking problem with that? Hey, how about some fucking passion and stop being so damn soft?
Yeah.
So Fergus said, we don't know Mike David and have never had any contact with him of any sort. I have no idea who he is or what he claims to have. What I do know is that he has never received any documents from us of any kind.
Wow.
Okay. And one of the things that Gill gives as evidence of a connection to New Hampshire is this NPR radio, New Hampshire Public Radio. But the problem is in this radio, and you can listen to it, guys, you can click on this, you can listen to it. You will find no connection between this incredible journalistic works known as the Pandora Papers and Mike Gill or New Hampshire.
Yeah.
The Pandora Papers has zero connection to New Hampshire, period. Let's see. And they say, oh, they've done the separation. His is Pandora's box. Bullshit. All the show titles that he appeared on the MG show, and it was titled Pandora Papers Follow the Money, a conversation with Mike Gill. Okay. Now, if you're really integrous, you're telling the MG show, hey guys, listen, it's not the Pandora Papers. I call mine the Pandora's box. That's the only way they're connected whatsoever. And that's the truth. But he doesn't do that. He lets it ride because people associate him with the Pandora Papers. I go through the letter of evidence, the $50 million to walk away. No, this is a letter is from Mike's attorney, Michael Perusis, where Gill offers to walk away for $50 million. Mike Gill never turned down $50 million. He was never offered that money. Gill further shows video of him asking about the settlement to the attorney Barrington, who ignores Mike. Mike is using this as evidence that he was offered the money. Okay. The witnesses like the IRS and New Hampshire Department of Revenue are mentioned in the court documents as witnesses, but they were appearing against Gill, not seeking an NDA.
Wow.
Okay.
So no NDA.
And I've got the paper here. This was Michael Perusis, and then so I talked to Michael Perusis is writing to Michael Tierney right here. Okay. And I said, I reached out and spoke to two of the lawyers on these documents. Michael Tierney, the lawyer with one of the $50 million letters, Tierney couldn't tell me specifics without speaking with Alex Walker first. He was the $5 million defamation case who won and beat Gill, and Gill never showed up, whom he passed on David's info to. David said regarding Gill's lawsuit against Walker for judicial malpractice, this case was dismissed at Superior Court. After Gill's appeal, it went to Supreme Court and was dismissed there as well. And I said to him, it seems that you guys had a strong enough case that wouldn't have made sense to offer him $50 million. And Michael Tierney said, you are very perceptive. They won that case hands down. Like, why would they offer him $50 million when he has no case and he doesn't even show up?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense as far as like the evidence. Like, even when I went to like from my criminal shit, right? So like he's like, oh, he had a bank before. So that's one that I actually had to cop out, and because it's either that or I do 10 years. So I said, okay, I'll cop out. I already had 27 co-defendants against me in the case, right? Everybody ratted. I'm the type of person where like I ran on a limb. I was young. It was like 2002.
Keep talking. I'm right here, but I get.
So I was young, you know what I mean? But I got a conspiracy charge to commit bank fraud. So it was a bunch of people doing whatever. I had other cases that, like I'd gotten to a bar fight. I knocked the shit out of this one dude, beat him up. And the case, like, he wanted to take me to court, but they seen him swing at me. So my lawyer was like, hey, I can beat this case. So we went to court. We admitted, did a deposition, put all the evidence in, showed the guy lunging at me and me beating the shit out of him and knocking him out. It was in defense. So we beat the case. My lawyer was like, we have the evidence. We're going to beat the case. So my point being is I would have had a ton of other charges if my lawyer was like, hey, we don't have no evidence, but we're going to go to court, but we got no evidence. So we'll just go to court and bluff our way through. This is how I feel about Mike. Like, he bluffed his way through. He took the gamble. It backfired. He defamed people. And those people were like, nah, bro, like, where's your fucking proof? Show your proof. Just like he said, I was a drug dealer and I have guilty of selling drugs. He said this on Michelle Moore's show. Guilty of I don't have no drug charges. Show me the drug charges. Show me possession, intent to distribute. Show me criminal sale of narcotics to an undercover. Show me something, but nothing. Nothing. My video of me being transparent about my past. That's right. What he had.
So he uses that against you to try to discredit you. The only reason we're going into his past back to 2013 is because he opens with this. Mm-hmm. He turned down, he lost $274 million. No, he didn't. Mm-mm. They've only collected $1 million. We know that for a fact. Okay. And then the 50 million, then he claims I turned down 50 million. And everybody falls in love with him because, oh my gosh, look at what he sacrificed. Okay.
I turned down $1 million. I don't even talk about it. I turned down $1 million record deal. I don't even talk about it no more. I used to when I was like getting to know people in the chat and like, talking to people and doing the lives. And I'm like, yeah, I got offered $1 million deal with Compro Records.
Nice.
And they were giving me 80% on the royalties. They were taking 80 and I was getting 20 with the 360 to start with. That was the first year. I was like, I'm not signing that. I read it to my uncle. He used to do management with the Pointer Sisters. And he's like, nah, Sonny, that's not a good deal. Don't sign that. So once I didn't sign that, here come the politics. They started cutting my mic off when I was on BET on 106 in Park. I went through a whole bunch of stuff where they tried to blacklist me and a whole bunch of things because I started outing them. Even back then, I was trying to expose these people, bro, in the industry because of what they did. But, like I'm just saying, like he's like, oh, I turned down 50 million. No, you're lying. I really did. I still have the articles. I still have everything. He was bringing up my child support. So like you said, he's attacking my character. Yeah. Of who Skript is. And he knows nothing about me. He doesn't do any research. It's all about Gil. So if he would have done a little research about me, he could have spoken to people that knew me and be like, oh no, Skript's been up front ever since 2018 when I started speaking out with Joker. I told everybody from the jump, my whole history.
But that doesn't serve him because he's got to discredit you because you're discrediting him on substance.
Yeah.
So he's got it. They're grabbing for straws, and they've done the same thing with me.
Oh, they really went on you hard. And that's why when they were going after you after this, I was like, yo, how come y'all not answering those questions? Y'all answer everybody else's questions, but you can't answer Dave's questions.
Yeah, right. And so I also talked to this lawyer, Bob Curley, And he said, we never offered a cent to Mike Gill.
Wow.
Okay. And he put it in writing.
Yeah. So that's on the record. That's on the record. I'm just getting a drink.
Yeah. So this guy, he put it in writing, and then also noticing the language of the letter that from Gill's attorney, my client is willing to settle this matter for $50 million. And should you agree to that amount, well, wait a minute. If they made the offer for 50 million, they wouldn't have to say if you agree to that amount.
Yeah.
Okay. And the first condition, then we can discuss this. If the other side offered 50, why would Mike have to say this? Because they didn't offer him money. They were extortion letters from Mike and his attorney. And they basically said, if you don't do this, here, it's up on this one. If you don't do this, we're going to take to 1,500 media outlets and law enforcement agencies calling for a RICO investigation into all of these matters. This was extortion. And what happened with those 1,500 media outlets? What happened with the RICO investigation? Because they called his bluff. Okay. So this is how Mike Gill ingratiates himself to everybody by telling you how he's doing this for you, the people. Meanwhile, he has no connection to Pandora's Papers. He has no $50 million. Oh, in the $274 million, they only collected $1 million. This is him grandstanding over the FRM scandal, which he had nothing to do with in New Hampshire. This is him sidling up to another thing that he put his name on and tried to clout chase. This is the article that gives the reasoning behind the $274 million defamation case. The juror even says we never even saw Mike Gill in court.
Didn't they say wasn't he saying it was like something with the teacher? The teacher was the one that came up with the sums and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a teacher.
What is that? The teacher's deep state now too? Where does he work at? The Jacob Rothschild College? Which one is it?
Yeah, I think he was a high school teacher.
High school teacher, bro, is deep state.
Yeah. This is and he basically explains the whole thing. And it's here, I'll show you this right here. And he explains why they did it the way they did it. These were the three guys that he defamed, that he didn't even show up and show evidence of them or their drug. As a matter of fact, he got one of these guys. He got him because
white,
what's that?
They're all white. How are they a cartel?
Yeah, exactly. And one of them, by the way, sold coke in the 80s. And this is 2017. And he was saying that they're doing drugs. Okay.
Well, maybe they were doing drugs, but I don't think they're running cartels.
Exactly. And so this teacher basically said, we figured out how many times people go by these billboards and how damaging it must be for their business. And they calculated, the 9.9 million visitors to Gill's website that he bragged about, tally the Facebook views and shares, about 18 million. And they rounded out to about 35 million per defendant.
So you had a big website with that too? I
guess so. Yeah.
Sounds like D Boomer and Gene Decode. They had a big website too.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's what he was talking about.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's challenging the shit that I'm dropping. And I was calling out Gene Decode 4 years ago.
He's not even answering you, bro. Believe me, man. He was working for Gene when you were calling out Gene, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. Because I called out Gene years ago. I mean, he didn't even know Gene when I was calling out Gene. I was telling Kirsten W. that Gene brings no receipts whatsoever, and she built her career on Charlie Ward and Gene Decode. Kirsten W.
Gene caught me a couple of times. Like I would go and research certain things, but then we started going out and trying to find tunnels ourselves. Like we were like, we're going to go look ourselves and see what we can come up with. So, you know, you get a couple of things and find certain things, but not at the level that he was saying. I know about the Ozarks. We all know about the Ozarks. We saw truck drivers drive right in, and it was in a cave, and you know they had like a factory over here, and then they had doors over here, but it was all government run. So we know they got tunnels underground. We all know that shit. But as far as like what they were doing, I said to Boom, I said, you know, you say you're apologizing for working for Gene Decode, and you know what you did. It just sounds like you're guilty. Like, you know what I mean? If you really have a guilty conscience and you're really that mad, then go take Gene down. If you're really that upset, go take him down. Do a full presentation. Go through everything. But I'm pretty sure he was contributing to the visuals for Gene.
Interesting. I'm done with him. I'm done with Crash. I've unfollowed them both, but some of their shit still pops up. But it's obvious that they have a financial incentive because they're not looking at the obvious. The fentanyl bust claim that he claims that he figured out and caused, it's all bullshit.
Yep. And that was the part that me and Nick saw. We both saw the receipts after we like went through it and it was 3 hours. It was like 3 hours. But I went through the receipts and I was like, see, and this is why I wanted to remain neutral. And that's why he attacked me the first time, because I said, I'm just remaining neutral. I'm not picking a side. Oh, you have to pick a side. You better pick one. Whoa, bro. You sound like William Wilhelm, bro.
Right. and he sidled up to that. It was a pharmaceutical drug return program. And I've also included the largest fentanyl busts in New Hampshire and in the United States, and they all occurred outside of his since he's been gone from New Hampshire. Nothing of the sort. And then here's all the questions for Gil. And
go ahead. You broke it down. The questions should be, everybody should retweet this. If you're on X and Dave's up there, I just put it up. So everybody should repost that and tag Mike Gill in it. Tag Crash, Boomer, all of them. Michelle Moore, all of them. Everybody should tag them in it.
Yep.
Let them answer the questions.
Yeah, that's all I was asking. And I flat out said, listen, if I'm wrong about this, I will make a public apology to Mike Gill.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong. And nobody has come through with receipts on any of it. And they tried to show me a lawyer that was Gil's lawyer. So it's basically his story.
Yeah.
And then him talking. I'm sorry, that's not evidence, folks. That's not admissible in a court of law.
They were showing something about his horses in the past, and I think it was I forget who it was. Intel Techniques, the guy that's been putting up a lot of posts, and I've been resharing it.
Yeah.
So he found the link, and this goes way back. He found the link to all the people that knew Gil, worked with him in the horsing industry, everything, and you can see what they all think of him. So I reposted it like, okay, motherfucker, let's see what real people think about you. This goes back to then. It's archived. It's all about you. And that's what it was. They got mad when I noticed they really attacked me when I took Shaheen and then Elaine. And then I put Mike in the mix and said, okay, since you want to play that game and you want to, just stoke suspicion for people, well, how come your lawyer is a Clinton Foundation lawyer? How come your lawyer is connected to Ghislaine Maxwell, who was held in a witness protection fucking house in New Hampshire, and you were at the height of it in the mix? How the fuck are you connected to all that shit? Yep. So let's see who's really the deep state, who's really the CIA, who's really the agent of chaos. Michael Gill.
Yep.
Does it every time.
This was the letter from Bob Curley, who said, listen, I said, can I get this in writing that you never offered him $50 million? He said, I got to run it by one of our partners because I got to make sure that we're not putting ourselves, in any kind of detriment. And he wrote me a couple days later, hi, David, this will confirm that at one time, Mr. Gill, through counsel, offered to settle his panoply of lawsuits against many parties on a global basis for $50 million. By the way, I had to look up panoply, okay, because I didn't know what the hell it was, but it's like a plethora, many lawsuits.
Wow.
Morrison Mahoney LLP made no settlement offer in response to his demand or at any later time. Morris Mahoney LLP has no knowledge of any offer made by any of the other multiple parties sued by Mr. Gill, Bob. And then Aaron Day, I think Aaron did this. This is Gill. He seeks a new anti-corruption ally. Let me get rid of this banner. Sorry, folks. He convinces them to turn against their predecessor. Then he deploys them until they're too informed or problematic, which Michelle Moore has never been. Okay.
Not yet.
Then he destroys their credibility and then does it all over again.
Yep.
And when he went to Arizona, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. Right. and Aaron Day tweeted, I'll give it less than I think he said, I'll give it a month or something like that. And it what was it? A week and a half.
Yeah. And then it was well, there was no brokered convention. No brokered convention happened. Liz Harris, they said Liz Harris released the tapes. Then Matthew Tucciaroni, who they brought on, a big whistleblower, and what they do? Try to destroy him, destroy his credibility. Meanwhile, he stayed with him, and then the whole, where's the police report? Who's the biker guy? No pictures of, if I feel like somebody's stalking me to try and kill me, first I'm going to get them on my phone because the digital imprint is there. And then I'm going to go up to the person like, yo, what's up? I don't even think there was anybody there. That's just my opinion.
This is, in terms of the Arizona thing, there was no significance to his actions there, other than disruption. And that's where he's gone everywhere. And he walks around and he's carrying this, this group of information, a bunch of information that couldn't even get him out of a $274 million lawsuit in New Hampshire. He couldn't even present it to the jury. Maybe it was a corrupt court. We know that exists.
Yeah, okay? Of course. They're everywhere.
He uses all that to his advantage. We know that exists. But the key here is that he's sue happy. He's lost 29 court cases.
I thought it was 28. It's 29.
Yeah, I think I've got him right here. Actually,
pretty bad. That's pretty bad. And he fired like 100 lawyers, 80 something lawyers.
Yeah, 80 lawyers. He has fired. 80 lawyers. He's fired.
Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Yeah. And guys, we're going to wrap up the whole Gill story. A few people said, Gill, the show is done. We're giving too much airtime to Gill, but here's the thing. The reason why I'm giving this airtime, they haven't messed with me in weeks. Okay. But they have been going after Skript, and it's absurd. The kind of stuff that they're pulling up. And so this is to, make you understand how desperate they are, that they got to go back 30 years with Skript or however the hell long it is.
You know what was funny? They go, oh, well, Skript was arrested, blah, 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 blah. I was like, so was Gill. So Crash goes, no, he wasn't. And then Andrew Day comments right under it. Yeah, he was Skript is right. He was arrested that day for contempt.
That was brilliant. That was
brilliant.
I mean? Yeah, he was arrested for contempt.
They said he'd never been arrested. He got arrested. I don't care if the judge threw him in court. I don't care if he was in contempt. He got arrested. You lied. He did get arrested.
Yeah.
That's what they said about me. They said, oh, it doesn't matter. Whether it's drug dealing or a conspiracy, Skript has a criminal history. So what?
Mm-hmm.
You know who I robbed? It was JP Morgan and Chase. What did JP Morgan and Chase bring into the United States? 50 tons of cocaine on their ship. So you mean that JP Morgan didn't know that was just flowing in on his ship? Sure.
Right.
Sure.
these are his court.
Banks are corrupt anyway. I just want everybody to know that banks are corrupt.
Yeah.
They keep your money in escrow, even though it's in your account. There's a clone account to it. That's escrow. They make money off of it. They get interest off of it while your money sits in it. So 100,000, they're making money. If you got anything over 20,000 in the bank, they are making money on your money to hold your money, and it's gaining interest, and they get paid on it. You get a small ass percentage of the interest of your money. So it's illegal banking activities, what they do.
Absolutely. And these are the court cases, Skript. These are, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 4, 6, 8, 29.
Oh my God.
He lost every single one of them. And he opened most of them. The ones he didn't were his former employees that he forced to break the law, and they sued him, and he had to settle out of court financially.
Yeah.
And I'll put this in the Telegram as well. But yeah, it's ridiculous, man, that this guy even has a platform. He shouldn't even have a platform. And I'm a free speech advocate. But what I'm getting at is, if you've been exposed, like we have exposed this clown, and you're still putting him on your show, you can't plead ignorance.
Nope.
And if you're supporting him and you're backing him, you can't plead ignorance, or you can't plead, we were just trying to help him out because he's exposing corruption. He ain't exposing shit.
There's no solution to it. And the only thing that I thought he was really I thought we were going to get something out of Arizona. I was like, man, I hope we see it. And I was fighting with him at the time. I'm like, I hope we see this. They get exposed. And the only thing I saw was everybody he came in contact with became the enemy instantly. Yep. Every single person he comes in contact with becomes the enemy, except Michelle Moore, Crash, and Boomer. And it got to the point when we took Phil down, everybody goes, oh, you didn't take Phil down? Believe me, Phil is not the same man anymore. Believe me, I can tell you right now, Phil Galewski is not the same man after that movie.
No.
And what we did to him, because I trolled him. I literally trolled him every day. I did it for 3 months.
You guys, listen, my criticism of Phil might as well have been fertilizer. Okay. Because he grew and he grew and he grew. And when you and Nick and Z made that movie, and that song that you did, by the way.
Oh, Frodlewski.
Did you do that with Joka?
No. So Frodlewski, Nick was putting the receipts together, and he would send me little clips while we were putting the movie together, and I would get the clips and I would look at it. And finally I sat there, I think I wrote like 4 bars, which is like 4 lines to the song. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish this. But boom, I wrote it. I think I wrote that in like 4 days. I wrote the whole song. And then we got Bree. I put Bree into the song, who was the 15-year-old that Phil took advantage of and groomed. And he's a piece of shit for that. Yeah. And suing his victim. This guy's a fucking narcissist. I finished it.
They all are. They all are.
We just ran with it. And then we were like, all right, we'll do a GoFundMe. Anybody that wants to contribute, we're gonna. This was the first time my name wasn't on it, but we put it as a group effort. A GoFundMe went just to publicity for the movie, trolling him, putting up billboards, radio promos, TV promos, planes. We got a plane to fly over his house.
That's amazing.
That said the Phil Godlewski story. Like that's the most trolling. I've done some trolling. That's the most trolling that we've ever done. But to see where they were at now, the point that I was making was a lot of people who were probably sock accounts from Phil and some of his admins and supporters. Stop. We need to be unified. There needs to be unity. Why are you calling him out? This is when we got to that point. So guess what just happened this week? Because I really went in on them. Like the past 2 days, I was just so like not mad. I was just like, so I'm going to just destroy them. I'm going to destroy them with one fucking video, and we're going to put it out because that's where I was at. So what happened? Right before I did the video, we need to be unified, Skript. Why are you doing that? Move on. There's other stuff we need to move on to. You're just causing division. They're not worth it. Leave them alone. We know that. I did leave them alone. And then they kept calling my name. They kept calling this man's name.
Yeah.
So this is the way that they play. It's clout chasing. They need, if you look, they always, Michelle Moore, Mike Gill is coming on. It's always somebody's big name in the movement. And they got the intel on them that we already gave y'all. Piggyback. We already talked about it. Michelle's not exposing nothing new about Flynn, nothing new about Roger Stone, nothing new about fucking the rest of them. Like, we've already done this, guys.
Yep. Stuff that if you heard it from Michelle Moore, you've heard it 3 years after I was doing it and Skript was doing it. That's the bottom line. She had Juan O'Savin on a year ago.
Oh, forget it. We were calling Juan out like 2 years ago.
I go back to when he was on Phil McConnell. I mean, it's just like, what is, man. So, all right. So any more thoughts you have on those clowns?
I mean, once I saw that, and then I saw
what?
Once I saw them like coming with the division, stop with the division, move on and all that, like I know it's done. And then I saw Mike saying, "Oh, you want me to move forwards? I got bigger things to do. This is a distraction. You caused the distraction. You started calling my name out, slandering me. I left you alone, and I said it. You couldn't keep my name out of your fat fucking mouth. That's how I felt. Like just leave me alone because you're gonna push me. And then when I start coming, I don't stop. Like they think I'm gonna stop now." No fucking way. I'm going for decapitation. And because they went into my past and did that, it's fair game now. Now I'm into all your past. I'm going to get all your names. I'm going to get all your information. Once I put up that we got your Rumble earnings and they're like, wait, how did he get that? Oh, keep fucking around. I'm going to have all your fucking shit all out there. Y'all know what it is. People have doxed me. So guess what? I'll return the favor. Since you want to play those games, I'll return the fucking favor. It has nothing to do with Dave. This is me. I don't give a shit. Send the fucking cops. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If he keeps coming at us, he keeps coming at you, I'm going to keep reposting the video. I'm going to keep reposting the clips. The receipts, the questions, keep at it. Crash, keep coming. Crash and burn, I call her. Keep coming.
I called her Trash Q.
Yeah.
Trash and Q. Everything that anybody puts up. I get it. The Vril and all the alien stuff, the reincarnation. I get that. That's a little bit deeper. Some people are into that. Some people really study and research that stuff. Let them be at that. Just because you don't believe in reincarnation or you don't believe in the fallen angels are really sitting here in the earth and you think it's just all imaginary because this guy's like, oh, the reptilians are going to save you. Bro, there's statues in Peru. There's statues all around the world of reptilian gods. Like, what do you think they just decided to make these 3,000, 5,000 years ago because they had an epiphany that there was a walking lizard walking around hanging out with them? No, they seen it. That's why they sculpted it. It became their god. That was their god. These people worship these reptilians. And it just makes me laugh when I hear somebody try to break that down and say like, oh, this is just, this is MK Ultra. Yet the CIA admits so much, so many PDFs, so many patents, so many things that we could prove. And they just have a blind eye to it. I don't know why, but I guess they're agents that want to, take the Q movement down because the Q movement woke up millions of people.
Hey, I mean, anybody that's not tapped into Q, I kind of feel sorry for because they don't see the big picture here. They don't see that what's happening is the literal takedown of a worldwide cabal, and that's why it's taken so damn long, and that's why it's becoming so important right now. And we're getting comms left and right on the legitimacy of Q. Like there's more legitimacy now than there ever has been.
Trump went in very, very hard in the past 6 months. That's the other thing too, because everybody thinks that the podcasters and like anybody that knows how to decode or is good at following along and showing the chronological sequence events and putting them and laying them out, they think anybody that does that is claiming that they're Q and part of Q. No, that's Phil Godlewski and the grifters.
Yeah.
Don't fucking put the other people that have worked their ass off to wake people up and show people things into that category. Those people are literally scamming people. If we're sitting here in the same house, or I'm in an apartment, I'm not in a fucking house, like, you know what I mean? There's a difference between the grifting and the scamming. The coupons for the watches. You see those coupons? They give you $100 off if you mention the coupon name. Yeah, shit like that, guys. That's the shit that was called out 3 years ago.
And even if that stuff did some good, it's like you cannot. What's happening here is the grift is the bad intel, the bad information, and then piggybacking that with money.
EBS next week, bro. Don't worry about it. It's coming next week. And the Sarah is going to happen on Monday, September 3rd.
The med beds are here.
We know that. We called all that shit out. All of us been calling that stuff out, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, I don't care. Like, if somebody has a T-shirt or a hat, they're selling a T-shirt or a hat, that's your objective. If that's what you got to do, some people lost their jobs right now. Some people are not even fucking making ends meet. What about 2020? I had people that were running around outside selling masks in New York. They were selling masks to make money because they lost their fucking job. They didn't want to take a vaccine. So they're like, I'm going to wear the mask. This is the mentality they had out there. So they'd sell the mask. I was even fucking around like, yo, just to make a joke. I was like, I got $20 N95 masks for you, $20 ones. And like, people were like, I'll buy one. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going back to sleep. So yeah, I mean, there's people that do certain things that have talents. People make movies. Some people put content together. They put receipts together. They make it chronological so you can understand. Some people teach. You learn something from them. But the ones that are just going over the same script over and over and over, chances are they are actors, guys. If they can't bounce everywhere.
And it's the headlines, the intel, the gotcha headlines and all that suck you in. This is just the Mockingbird media reframed as an alternative media. It's still CIA. It's still, bullshit. It's still, and some of it is CIA. Some of it is FBI. Some of it is just opportunists taking advantage of a situation.
There's also too, you have to look at it from a different perspective, right? What happened to the ratings? What was been Trump? President Trump has been telling us for the past 4 years, CNN ratings are in the trash.
Yeah,
they're in the trash. Nobody watches CNN. Nobody watches it. So what they do? They literally had to go and groom fake conservative actors, podcasters, whatever it is, or alternative media actors, news anchors, to come in and pretend to be that. And I always tell you, the easiest way to know who these people are is once they talk bad about Trump, then you know they are actors. If they say anything bad about Trump and then they recant it and they're coming out, oh, we love president, or they didn't donate for his campaign, all of a sudden they're endorsing him. Like these are things that are like, I don't know, they've always worked for me. So anytime I hear Trump took a deal, prove it. Yeah. Why? Juan said it, because Nino said it, because Mike Gill said it. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, and how are you pro-Trump if you're saying that he betrayed us all and took a deal just to get his ass out of jail?
Well, he would have did it already. He wouldn't even be in jail. There would be no charges. If Trump took a deal, you wouldn't see none of this shit. There would be no media would attack him. They wouldn't have did anything. It would have been light attacking like they did to Obama. That's how you know what he did was so effective. They had to weaponize everything from media, news, three-letter agencies, even state and local agencies went after him. They take the military. They find these military actors, influencers. Oh, President Trump hates the military, calls us, he was just talking about McCain. when he said that he was a loser because he got caught? Did anybody
Yeah.
ever think that Jane Fonda was involved with that? Did anybody ever think that that was a psyop? That's why he said that? That whole thing was a psyop to get America like, oh my God, we got a prisoner of war. Look, he's going to become the Manchurian candidate. That's going to be your next. This is how easy it is to figure it out now. I wasn't thinking like that, 10, 15 years ago? I wasn't thinking this is the psyop.
No, same. And I mean, what's going on here is that there's a narrative that has to continue, and they have to continue it with the largest amount of people they can. And like you said, they know they lost CNN audience. They know they lost mainstream media, MSNBC. They've got to get it to the alternative platform. And that's why I've been saying they brought Musk in to buy Twitter. And, they had control of Twitter before Musk came in.
Musk is tricky, man. Elon Musk is tricky. He puts up comms. People go, no,
Yeah.
he doesn't put. Yes, he does. He puts up comms. He definitely does. But I don't know. Sometimes I'll see that it's like a good comm, and then he'll put up another one, and it's a bad comm. So it's like the duality. They always have to show us duality, as above, so below. It always happens, no matter how we look at it. It's always as above, so below with them. Checkerboard.
So, see, I think that, I've given away all my shows. I take donations. I have a few things that I offer people, but the key here is there's got to be good content. Mm-hmm. See, I want people to support you because what you do is valuable. And when we started out as Anons, we didn't know it was going to be this long.
No, it was supposed to end in 2020. Just my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, there's the post that 2 years already and 6 years into the future, that's supposed to be somewhere in 2025, but we didn't think that it was going to take this long to make this happen. I think that it's good for not to get rich off this, but to support yourself off the work you do. And because we'd be better off if you weren't on a roof.
Well, now I'm doing plumbing. I'm not on the roof no more, but it's 100 degrees out here. And I'm working
Thank God you're not on a damn roof, man. Holy cow.
It does suck though, like with the heat down here. But I still rock. That's the point that I was making too. Like, I would love to be able to sit and do this, like just thinking, not Steve Bannon. I'm just saying, like, they have their network and there's other people and they keep coming and coming. We would love to do that. I mean, but those networks would never put Dave or me into a seat like that, because we're a totally different type of breed when it comes to, waking people up. They want to keep them ultra right. They want them just stuck on the right, when we know Q told us it's not about the right or the left. It's just good versus evil.
Right.
So, these are things. But yeah, I would love to do that, man. That would be awesome. I'd do fucking probably 4 shows a day.
That's what I'm saying, man. Because there's people that are doing it permanently, that are selling watches, and they should not be the people that people are listening to. Yeah,
because they don't believe in Q.
No, and they've got no clue. They're noobs, they're babies, they're rookies. They wouldn't be, if this was any other industry, Skript. They wouldn't even be in the same room as us.
No, they couldn't. They couldn't even sit down with us.
No, it's not even close. And they have to discredit in order to try to lower us to their level, which they cannot do.
Yeah, I saw that. They were like, "Oh, look at Skript trying to be relevant." Bitch, I haven't even put up the text messages from you. Don't make me put up those text messages. Oh, can you send me info on Linwood and Flynn and all that? Like, you don't have that? You're a newbie.
You remember they were trying to get me to give up the text messages?
Oh, yeah. You were like, just have Gil put it up. He puts up all the others.
Why didn't he put it up for like weeks and weeks and weeks? Why? Because there was nothing there. It was a nothing burger. Yeah, and then they did a show on it, and it was it was ridiculous.
Well, he edits, and then they have a whole squad that edits. Because I saw the original text that they were saying that Nick had said, and that was a share. Like I had the same thing he shared to Mike, he shared it to me. So I was able to see
it wasn't him, it was somebody else.
it was somebody else that put it in there. And then they said it was Nick. And then they used some guy, Total something, that used to work for Nick, who hates Nick. You know, they had a falling out or whatever.
Oh,
and
right.
that guy's like writing this text. Like, I'm gonna believe that guy. Like, come on, that guy's a disgruntled employee.
Right. So so let's talk, moving on. Thank you for all that, man. That's good stuff. And by the way, we'll do this again. If they pull this shit again, let's get everybody together. Let's get Aaron Day. Let's get them all, and let's tell personal stories about real stories. And let's find out why he hasn't seen his family in a lot of years. Let's find out the real truth on that.
That don't make no sense.
That's the next step for me.
He brought up my child support. I'm like, my son is 27. Why are you bringing up? Yeah, I ran into problems. No, my child support wasn't paid. You didn't pay your alimony, bro. Like, are you kidding me? And that's recent. But anyways, moving on from old fucking angry Mike GoFundMe Gil.
Yeah. So couple of things. Well, regarding Trump, this is I'm going to find Kevin's stuff here, because this is spiritual 17, spiritual SF 17. And let me find my repost of that. And then I want to get into Trump and get into the New York thing a little bit more. And basically what Trump did was, let me pull this up for us. Is on true. He retruthed spiritual SF 17 and her beautiful and yet meaningful artwork 8 times today. I don't think he's ever done that with one person, by the way. More on this tonight. Q Plus confirmed once, twice again. Congrats. So here's Kevin's post. This is Strength and Honor. That's one of them. These are the others. The world will soon understand. And look at this great artwork she does. And Q Plus is in his left hand. Now, we know that Trump is Q Plus, but for Trump to retruth Q Plus, he's confirming Q, and nothing can stop what is coming.
Yeah. I had a few people, they did doomers and, he's just doing that because he needs the votes for November. No, he don't, man.
Oh, please.
What does this have to do with it? Nothing can stop what is coming. The world will soon understand. What have we been telling everybody? You're gonna have no choice but to face it.
Yeah. And by the way, the people that are non-Qers are just depressing because they've got no answer to this problem that we're in.
Nothing. They're waiting for Jesus to come back, even though Jesus told us to occupy until he does come back. That doesn't mean just wait around. All right, you're gonna rapture me. Sit on your couch and rapture me.
Here's one. In the end, God wins, which is another Q, and it says Q plus. The sunset is Q plus.
Wow.
In quotations or in parentheses. This is not another 4-year election returning power to the people. Hold the line. Justice is coming. Retruth if you're ready for justice to be served. Again, nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. Where we go one, we go all. Retruth. All roads lead to Obama. Retruth if you want public military tribunals.
Wow.
Trump,
wait, so this is one day?
What's that?
Is this one day?
This is all today, dude.
And he put up retruth if you want public military. Holy shit.
No, Spiritual Street Fighter
put it up and then he retruthed it.
He retruthed it.
Holy shit.
He retruthed all of these. And the timestamps on these were 6:22, time to play, Dopey, Black Forest. Now,
Oh, Black Forest,
Dopey,
they hunted him down in the Black Forest, right?
yeah, that's where they had children hunting. Dopey is both a CIA or supercomputer, but also that was Prince Al Walid.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah.
Right. And
Shit.
then that was 622. Mirrored, it goes into, operation codes and Godspeed. But I also go to the blue here in 66, especially when its ID is zeros. And 66 is, let's be clear, you're telling us POTUS is currently under attack by our own intelligence agencies? That's
Wow.
an Anon asking that question. Q says, let's be real clear. The CIA just attacked the command in chief, which was immediately detected by NSA military intelligence and alerted to POTUS. Re-review all my crumbs, including today, yesterday, weekend. What does this mean? What actions are immediately occurring? If this leaks or the immediate action ongoing at Langley, you'll have your verification ahead of schedule. CIA's been in a lot in the news because of, RFK's coming on board. What's he going to do? Is he going to ask for the, Trump's already said the JFK files are going to be released.
Yeah, I heard him saying that, and then he actually told, RFK and all of that. I mean, I have my own theories with his voice and all that stuff. The height, there's a bunch of things, but it's all speculation, of course. But remember when they put up the flag? I put the post up where it was Trump and Kennedy. And then people are like, oh, yeah, that's the vice president. Whoever said that? I wasn't talking about that. I mean, we spoke about it, but I wasn't talking about that. If Trump brings Kennedy like he did, that brings the unity. No more fucking uniparty.
Yeah.
Especially for the people that love RFK. They were probably like, holy shit, he's at a MAGA rally. Hey, RFK, what was that MAGA rally like? Packed. That's what he heard.
Yeah.
Packed.
This, what's going on with this RFK thing is, I initially said RFK stepping into the race, in my opinion, is to bring the jab conversation to a national level. Trump bringing him in is going to take it to another level. I mean, for people that trust RFK, vote for Trump. Okay. Yeah. Because if he trusts him enough, and I know he said you could still vote for me in some states, in the blue states, but and they won't take him off the ballot in Michigan. Meanwhile, they took West off the ballot, right? And so this whole thing of him joining Trump, to me, is going to take this medical and food conversation to a whole nother level. And RFK is flat out saying that if I have the reins to make changes, that you're going to see healthy school lunches, you're going to see healthy food in the United States, chemical free, within a couple of years.
I thought he was going to say no chemtrails, and I was like, he's not going, because he was stuck on the whole climate change thing for a little bit, but he didn't bring it up.
Right. If he focuses on the chemtrails and the food and the medical, I mean, and takes the corruption out of it, because it's the corruption that makes it all, it's the corruption that makes it all continuous and ongoing. And every time, somebody new comes into office, guess what? There's more corruption, more corruption, more corruption, because that's the system that will set it up. And by the way, the military timestamp on that 622 repost. Now here's the way I look at it, and I think you're the same, but tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If he does this, the repost 8 times in one day, we're supposed to take notice, right?
Yeah,
It's not just by accident.
it's an all call to all anons. Like that's like kind of like the bat signal. Remember, I'm
Yeah.
Batman, so that would be like a bat signal. Did he? I'm trying to think. I couldn't remember all of the posts if there was any type of sketched into any of them, like a bat signal.
Oh,
Like time, like like it's time.
let me show you. Let me pull it up again.
We only have like, what is it, like 122 days, 121 days?
This is, the earth on fire behind him.
I'm gonna make this bigger real quick for me, so I
This
can.
kind of, let me make this also. I'm gonna get us out of the way so people can see it a little bit better.
I'm gonna stay off camera. I just want to look at it.
Sure.
See where we're at with it.
So here's the first two. Not necessarily. I'm sorry. I think they're the last two. But here, this is his basically his logo behind the Marines, by the way, which are in line, and all this, energy, electricity going between them. And of course, we all remember the Marines that came out during his inauguration, which is very, very unique. When he was telling us that he's going to give it back to you, the people.
The Q plus over there looks like a bat signal almost.
It does kind of, right?
Yeah. And you got three, what is that? 3 stars? So 3 stripes.
Yeah, 3 parentheses.
Yeah, I mean that could look like a bat signal if you put it up in the air and it's out towards the sun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just trying to think of because this has meaning. Like Trump doesn't do. The last time he did it, what did he retruth? Like 6 or 5 of a whole bunch of different Q people on truth.
Say that last sentence again, please.
So the last time Trump did this, where he retruthed all Q stuff from all different Q accounts. It wasn't just one account; it was all different Q accounts.
Yes,
and those Q accounts, like it led up to so much in the next week, and then Flynn came out and denounced QAnon. He renounced this whole thing, and said it did a disservice to the movement right after Trump did that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like Monday we're going to see some crazy shit. I mean, we might see something Friday, but.
Well, let's take a look at this here, and this is the this is drop. This is the only drop that has Q plus with the 6 parentheses or the 3 parentheses, and it talks about Washington Post did an article on Q. Art can help distinguish between conspiracy and reality, and this exhibition proves it. More, discrediting of the Q movement, the Pizzagate, Rothschilds, Freemasonry, George Soros, and it's basically calling us all, a bunch of conspiracy theorists. And then
they can't touch the message. They have to go to the actual movement, kind of trying to discredit the movement. Like, some of these people have been trying to discredit people's characters, but they can't discredit the message.
And dude, I didn't know this was here when I was giving that analogy of how they're attacking us and how they have to discredit us. I didn't know about this yet. When you can't discredit this movement using logic and facts, you resort to comparing it to art, ? How many articles has the Washington Post released attacking the Q movement? Why is the Washington Post dedicated to attacking this movement? Washington Post owned by Amazon, ABCs and Amazon, meaning the alphabet companies, meaning that the Soros is did a $600+ million contract, cloud computing contract with the CIA, and he owns the Washington Post. I mean, it's a direct link. And
Yeah.
by the way, the CIA gave him 600 million before he bought WAPO for 340. The timing on that was
Insane.
sucks.
But you know what's crazy is this is what the CIA does. They always attack first, and they say that these people are the bad intelligence community. These people are probably CIA that are Q, kind of like what a certain person was doing to us. Oh, they're CIA. Everybody's CIA.
Yeah. And
But
they
meanwhile,
they project what they are.
Yep. They have to, because
Yep.
they can't destroy what we've done. The track record is there. That's it.
Yeah. If we aren't a threat or real or simply just a conspiracy theory, why the constant heavy attacks?
Yeah.
Right? Information warfare, IW, destroy the controlled narrative. Power belongs with the people. Where we go one, we go all. Q plus in those parentheses. This was straight from President Trump.
You know what's crazy is I did see them saying they were harping on what Trump said about, Kamala's trying to make me into the president. And this was one of their posts that Trump put up a tweet, right? Like, see, we've been trying to tell you he's not commander in chief and da 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 da. We told you he would be fucking completely removed before Derek came on the scene, before anyone was saying all that. We told you he was going to be completely removed, and they would still blame him because Orange Man bad. Yeah. That's all they have. They talk. How many times did Kamala mention Trump at the DNC?
204 times. I think the whole. I think that was just the first night or first two nights.
No, I think it was the first night. They did it 51 times or something like that the first night, and then the two nights it was like 200 and change.
Yeah. Hey guys, how much was it total at the DNC? Do we know how many that was? And oh
shit.
And the military timestamp, by the way, on one of these posts, there were a couple that were at 6:22, and the military timestamp takes us to 1822. Psychological projection.
Holy shit,
dude! We were just you just brought that up, man.
Oh my god!
And I tell you, I'm looking at this for the first time. Okay, not the first time on this post, but the first time tonight, right? Define conspiracy as secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. Conspiracy to destroy the government. The action or plotting or conspiring. They were cleared of conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. Fake news. Fake news collaborating and pushing knowingly false information. Fake news knowingly false narrative pushes. POTUS's collusion with Russia to win the 2016 election. POTUS puppet to Putin. Irreparable harm, relationships with our allies, collapse U.S. economy, collapse the stock market, cause war with North Korea, war with Iran. POTUS will destroy the world, on and on. Knowingly false, but look at what they're doing. And this was Q telling us this back in 2018.
Yeah, we are strong. They can do what they want, but we are strong, and we're ready.
Yeah. What are they hiding? Fake news media is not free and independent. Fake news media equals propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. And like, Skript and I were saying, this has come outside of the mainstream because they knew they lost us in the mainstream. So they have to, cast that net to catch those jumping out of the mainstream media. Think, the list of WikiLeaks list of journalists who colluded with HRC DNC in 2016. Look at what the DNC is doing all over again. The reason why Seth Rich released that stuff to WikiLeaks was because they were funneling money and votes that came into the DNC away from Bernie Sanders into HRC.
Yeah.
because she was in control of the DNC at the time with Schultz. What's her name? And then Brazil, but it was the first one was I'm forgetting her name. She's down in Florida now. The representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She was the head of the DNC during that time. They want you divided by race, religion, culture, class, political affiliation. Divided you are weak, together you are strong. You, the people, have the power. This movement challenges their forced narrative. This movement challenges people to not simply trust what is being reported. Research for yourself, think for yourself, trust yourself. Folks, this is what you hear from Skript and myself.
Yeah.
Trust yourself, research for yourself, think for yourself.
And the movement is not about one person or group of people. It's about all of us. We the people is all of us. And that's why I always talk about, like, you know, some people will get mad and they'll say, oh, well, I don't like the Democrat people and I don't like the Republican. I'm like, they're still your neighbors. They're still Americans. They still have to go through their journey of waking up, and that us realizing that a uniparty system, that's why they hate MAGA, because MAGA actually split down the middle, the Republican and Democrat. It actually shows you all the operatives that are Republican that are, like, you know, working against Trump. I mean, it was 23 Republicans when he first got in. They haven't stopped working against him.
No. And they're in full panic attack.
Yeah.
I mean, well, look at what they're doing. They're gaslighting Kamala. Meanwhile, she won't even talk to them. I mean, this is unbelievable, man. Is they cannot contain or defeat what they do not understand. Is any of this normal? This was back in 2018. Think sealed indictments count. Think resignations of CEOs, senators, Congress. Think termination of SR, FBI. Think termination of senior FBI, senior DOJ. Normally, if it was capital SR, it'd be Seth Rich, but senior FBI, senior DOJ, Watergate times 1,000. Attacks will only intensify. Logical thinking. Ask yourself a simple question: why?
They're all on the same shit.
And that was all thanks to Spiritual Street Fighter 17. Folks, follow her on Truth
and X.
And X as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Great stuff. And I mean, and I did a drop on let's see, I did the other timestamp was 6:20. It's kind of MI6, MI5, SIS, underground house cleaning, Queen Monarchs seeking shelter, patience. These people are stupid. So it kind of brings in, you know, the other aspects of, you know, that this is not just the U.S. And it's basically somebody from the UK saying, hey, does this involve us too? And Q is saying, yes, it does. May is neutralized. Okay. And the Queen Monarchs seeking shelter. Look at what we've seen from the Monarchs. Okay. This was back in 2018 as well. Look what we've seen from the Monarchs since then. Okay. And this is basically just a patriot in UK who's saying, hey, is this for us too? And Q is saying, absolutely.
Yeah, it's for everybody.
Absolutely. Yes. It's worldwide. And that was January 2018, folks. Okay. That was 6:20, then 6:19. You have more than you know. Do you expect HRC, George Soros, Hussein, et cetera, to stand in a public courtroom with potential crooked judges and tainted liberal juries? How do you defuse a bomb? Knowledge of which wires, strings to cut. I'm sorry, I didn't bring you guys with this one. Okay, here it is.
Just thinking in my head. My head just went somewhere else on a whole nother level. Now I know why what happened and why it intensified this week.
Right.
The plants are still there. The plants are still out there, and they have to infiltrate our networks and You know, it's always been like that. Infiltration. Remember, it's always been infiltration, then exposure, then declass for us. So what would make sense if they're following our accounts and they're following the people that actually make sense of the boards and point you in the right direction to go and research these people and follow the money, as the certain people say, follow the money. Yeah, we've been saying that for like 4 years, 5 years now,
Yeah.
longer. Just remember, they have to infiltrate, and the projecting, like he was saying earlier, they were saying earlier about this intel projecting. They have to do that because it feels like for them, it feels like they're a step ahead of us by doing that. But if you've been
Hmm.
following, we've already exposed all this a long time ago. I just think that
Right.
these people are subduing themselves. That's my opinion. Like, remember when the first thing with the circle of jerks, it always leads to a dead end. If they lead to a dead end and you find out they're grifting and then they're using the same thing, it's the same tactic over and over and over, and you're not getting nothing out of it, they're not teaching you how to research, they're not teaching you how to think differently about everything, then right there you should know, watch who you follow and leave. If it's not helping your spirit out, leave.
Yep. And
Period.
and by the way, shout out to Spiritual Street Fighter. I think she might be watching. A great job on these
Oh
posts,
yeah.
and what a nice little journey it's taken us on. And I'd love to do a show with you. Um, the other thing too, because Kev just text me. Kevin, who does all the incredible memes, the moving memes, right? At Mr.
That's my dude,
Sciatica.
Mr. Sciatica.
Yeah. Um, by the way, I'm not either. Tory or whatever. What was the story with that
Yeah.
earlier?
Oh, I used it because I was making fun. So that girl Cubit that I don't know, she was saying I was a Freemason or whatever, but she does all these inverted male to female and female to male. And she did it on Crash and Michelle Moore. And I just used it. I just grabbed the pictures and just grabbed it, and Tori was there. But to be honest, anybody that was involved with psychological operations in the military and admit it on any podcast or anything like that, I back off of them. Like, I'm not following them. I don't want nothing to do with them. And
Mm,
because I can't trust them. I don't know what their motives are. I don't know who's over them. If they've made any GoFundMe's and there's been hundreds of $1,000s that went to that or anything like that, I look for that because they trained us to look for the money. How do they hide the money? Real estate, charities, donations like GoFundMe and GiveSendGo and all these things. So that should always be your red flag when dealing with that. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people could get sick, could get cancer, or they're like, they don't have money. They can't do it. And they are a prominent figure. So that is the only thing that they can do. They didn't go out and start beefs with people and try to defame people and all that. And then they're starting that because they hit rock bottom. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like people that are sick. If they're sick and they do something like that and they have somewhat of a following and they're showing you every step of the way, going to the doctor and all this stuff, then, that I don't see anything wrong with that because they don't have the money to do it for themselves. And the government's not going to help it because they're giving it to all the illegals coming into the country.
that's
Get it?
true. Yeah.
So that's me. That's me. So I don't have a gripe for that. But if somebody's like, I don't know, the house is destroyed or whatever the hell it is, and then you don't see nothing, you just see one picture and no like story behind it. I'm going to give you a story. Whatever I do, you're going to get, visuals. So if you don't
Mhm.
see that, that should be your first in your head. Like, okay, that's a red flag.
Well, my visuals is showing up 3, 4, 5 days a week. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the other thing. It's like, here's the thing. I do not believe I've been the reason why I'm in I would say the financial situation I'm in is because I have taken this very seriously, this revolution, and I have
Yeah.
not tried to profit off of it. I
And we could.
have tried to support myself to a certain extent off of it, but not getting rich, I rent, I drive a, 13-year-old car. It's not, yeah, I ain't getting rich off this shit, and I was
Yeah,
couch
never.
surfing for 239 days last year. And it hasn't been fun, but it's also taken a shitload of time. And I don't think we should be stepping back into communism either.
Yeah.
Okay. That people should just, if you're getting something of value,
Yeah, you
there
should be
should,
compensated
in
for
my, what's
time.
that?
You can't get time back. We're not talking
Yeah.
about that. We're like, when people are going on podcasts and they say on the low, like, we're making millions, and it was a hot mic. Like that's
Oh,
not good.
no.
Like, what are you doing for the children? I don't want to
Yeah.
see fucking shrimp cocktail. I don't want to see fucking trips to the Antarctic or Hawaii, or I don't want to see shit like that. What are you doing for the children? What are you doing to help people that are ground level? Like, if me and Dave had money like that, you're gonna see journeys with us. We're gonna be like going to the
Yes.
border, going to DC, going to Cali, going to New York. Like,
Yep.
that's what we want to see. We don't want to see you fucking going on vacation and like, that's them laughing in your face like
Buying
that.
homes.
Yeah, buying fucking multiple homes. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, I mean, as far as like you want to do a Rumble ramp, you want to subscribe, and that's how you want to show whatever. Like me, I try to sell my music, support my music, buy my album when it comes out, buy my t-shirts. They're on. I did Teespring. I only make on like I think like a $30 or $40 shirt or whatever, or sweatshirt it is, whatever. I think I get like a $7-8 profit. They're making it. I don't have to make it. I
Yeah.
don't have to take the time to produce it. So they're taking that, but I'm not getting rich on that. I mean, you know what I mean?
No.
Like I think
No.
I made like $300 or $400 in the past year on my t-shirts and sweatshirts. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about people like making millions and keep grifting, and they're like, hey, we got a new streaming platform for you. Hey, it's a $50 subscription. Hey, did you know I'm coming out with my own app, but you're gonna have to sign up. It's $100 for the year. These people are fucking marketers. They're merchandisers,
Yep.
just like Jesus when he went and flipped the tables.
Yeah.
That's what we're calling out. Not people that have to, this is what they're doing. They may have lost their job. They may have been silenced because of 2020. I know people right now that protest every day.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to the border with no money. It's like to go down to find out what the hell's going on. But here's what I think is happening. And I'm actually going to do a and Kev, I'm going to get to drop 8, by the way. I'm going to go there. That was how I wanted to end this, but I want to finish up with 118.
I'm laughing. Somebody said that Rumble owes them $5. They won't pay you. You got to be 50.
Oh, I was waiting on a check from Rumble for like a month and a half, and
2
because I
months.
didn't have a PayPal, so I had to. My friend gave me her PayPal, so I could actually get the money from there. But at any rate, the thing about what's happening is here's where, and I'm going to try to make the majority of my money through making more movies. Like I'm going to screen, by the way, everybody, I'm going to screen my romantic comedy Friday, possibly Saturday this weekend. And I'm opening up a funding for the next movie, which I've already shot. I just need to edit it.
Okay.
But it's just entertainment. It's like the romantic comedy that I did got picked up by HBO back in the day.
That's dope.
Yeah, and it was the most played movie on HBO 2 years in a row.
Yeah, you know what you're doing, and you're not like writing a script and then going. People have no idea what's involved with that. You write your script, you got to go to Hollywood. Once you get to Hollywood, you got to go get yourself an agent. That agent has another agent. Guess what they got to do? They got to take your script and they have to go to each, like Universal, Paramount, all of them. They have to go there, and they're not even getting to the top level people. They got to start at the little people. And if they're interested, remember, these are like A&Rs in the music industry. If they're interested, they'll kick it up to somebody who's under like 5 people before you reach to the top. So think of how much money you spend just trying to pitch your script, your movie. You know what I mean? So like there's a lot involved with
but
this.
that's the old model. if you want, like, I never went through the studio system. Like, I always did it independent. Like, you raise the money, you go out and make the movie, and you get, $6 million worth of production value for 1.5 million, for example, because you
Yeah.
call in favors. I used to, guerrilla shoot all over New York City, so you grab all this great footage, and you're just ripping it off, right? But so at any rate, this is but what I see happening, Script, is that as these people are diving down, and I'm talking about like daytime television, nighttime television, all the fake comedians that are totally controlled and bought and paid for,
Yeah.
all these all these shows, all these pundits, all these people that, as this all is exposed, are completely revealed for who they truly are. And the alternative space, all those clowns,
Mm-hmm.
guys like you and I are going to rise right up as they're going down. We're rising up, and because you don't need anything anymore, because it's all about content. You do your shit from your car. I'm doing it from the spare bedroom. It's
Yeah.
like we don't need a fucking studio. It's all about content,
Mm-hmm.
and content is king. And we'll polish it up, we'll do what we can, put some music up and stuff like that, but it's about, like, really the money needs to shift from the Amazons,
Mm-hmm.
the CIAs, the WAPOs,
And then,
all those clowns, the Daily Wire, all those clowns, and it needs to start to come towards people like us, because that's the shift that needs to take place. And
yeah.
then we provide value. Nobody is getting value out of you being a plumber except your boss and you and your family. Okay.
Fools, man. That's what
You
I
got,
do.
what you're doing, it should be leveled up here,
Yeah.
because you're bringing good content, and I'm going to stick up for you when you're attacked for making, $8 on a shirt. And I'm going to stick up for you if you're not, able to do as much as you would like to do, because you got to hold down a full-time job.
I would like to be going every day. Oh man, that would be fun.
Right.
I'll get there. I mean, you know what it is too? I still feel like we're a little at war. I feel like after November, because you got to remember, a lot of things are going to fade away. You still have metaverse. Metaverse is like they're buying up properties in this metaverse and all this crazy shit. But what happened with Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg came out and said they pressured him. They were on top of him. He received the money. He had to do what they said. So they silenced us.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. But you know what? I bet because I know you were silenced, I was silenced, and a lot of other people were. I bet you there's going to be a class action lawsuit.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it ain't going to be no $1 or $5 to people, because it's not everybody that got censored. It was only the conservative morale. It was only the people that were trying to get to the root of the truth and show what was happening with these jabs.
Yeah.
It helped
Yeah.
us, but yeah, I think that's what I should do. I've been thinking about writing a book, but I wanted to wait till this was all over. And I was going to write about my journey and write like what I went through and how my awakening process went. And then, how I built up what I built up with showing everybody everything, and then showing them how to research. Because a lot of people, they'll be like, Skript is a teacher. That's Professor Skript. That's what they call me, Professor Skript on Instagram.
Nice.
I'm like, Professor, bro, shit, man. I dropped out of school and went and got my diploma when I was like 20.
That's awesome. Yeah. The key, I think, is that, what you do that's similar to what I do is that we teach you how to fish. Like, it's, here's where you go, qalerts.app or qag.news, and you pull up the drops. And, like, for example, let me see. Remember how we just ended with the Let me see. 118. Did I do that right? 16, 18. No. Hold on. 18, 19. That's what I'm doing. I did that wrong. Hold on. Oh, okay. So, like, I went to, sometimes I can't even remember what the hell I did. But
I was
I
reading
went to 1819, which was the military timestamp for the one that we just left, which was knowledge of which wires strings to cut.
Yep.
And so I went to the military timestamp 1819 trip update Q, which is most of the time that was the chans, right? The 4chan, 8chan,
Okay. Yep.
and or operations. But then 118 pops up on the blue on the ID 000, and I go to 118. What family was permitted to leave immediately after 9/11?
Oh,
And
that
that
was
was the Bin
Obama.
Ladens.
Yeah. I said Obama. Bin
Yeah.
Laden's family. Tim Osmond. Tim Osmond's family.
Right. Exactly. Same thing. Same thing. You
Same
know,
thing.
who authorized the departure? Why is this relevant? Was anyone else permitted to leave? Repeat. Was anyone else permitted to leave? Was it a private plane? And then it's basically Saudi Arabia. Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia. Well, Q has told us that Saudi Arabia, they cut the strings because Saudi Arabia was financing Clinton's and the child trafficking, 150 million to the Clinton Foundation, and so that's
When they cut that, what's the date on that? The actual date on
oh,
this.
I think it was the purge, the Saudi Arabian purge, which would have been before the drops.
Bin Salam, right? The
Yeah,
whole thing. So once he did that, he went in, he arrested all the family members,
yep,
everybody, and then the purge really happened.
right, and that was right before the drops.
Yeah.
It was right before the drops, so they cut those
Black Hawk,
strings.
Las Vegas event.
Yeah,
Yeah. I remember when I was going into that Las Vegas event, I wasn't even up to the two Blackhawks yet. And they said that there were two Blackhawks that were shooting from above, and then some people were saying that it was just a megaphone. And I was like, no, they tracked them. They didn't even know about vessel tracking back then, like how they are now, and they do the vessel
right.
tracking. These didn't register, but they were seen on video. That was the crazy part. They saw these two helicopters. That video disappeared. I even went to save it in this phone, and this phone, it was deleted. They deleted my whole album out of there. I had a brand new album I just finished, and luckily I saved it on another phone.
Oh, thank God.
They deleted it out of there, but they deleted that video. It was only like a 7-second, maybe an 8-second video, but you could see there was two helicopters, and then somebody came out with the whole theory of that because there were witnesses, ground eyewitnesses that were saying that.
I think John Cullen came out with a helicopter theory.
Yeah. But then there was a video to go with it, though. And that video, I'm telling you, it was like very, very slow. They were like, oh no, they photoshopped it or whatever. It was CGI. And I'm like, no. Go put it through photo forensic. It's not going to come up as CGI. And sure enough, you put it through photo forensic and it wasn't CGI.
Interesting.
Who was another key person that was there that is a big crisis? Well, not a crisis actor, but a big actor now in everything that's happening.
Well,
Trust fund baby. Trust fund baby.
trust fund baby.
Hollywood. Lots of girls. Poker. Dan Blazarian.
I don't know that name.
So Dan Blazarian, when you get a chance, look him up.
Okay.
He's like the original Andrew Tate before Andrew Tate was really Andrew Tate. And he's on the ground talking about, he was telling a story that he was there.
Oh, this dude. Hold on.
The beard. He's got the big beard. He's always shooting big guns off. Yep. So, and his father, there's a whole thing that came out of him. You got to look into him. But he was like, yeah, I was telling the cop to give me a gun, and the cop wouldn't give me a gun. Like, it was like this whole thing. And then he took off. You notice they always show up around events and certain individuals take
So
off.
what do you think? What do you think of this guy?
I think as far as it is, I think he's crisis actor. I think he was propped up like certain other people. He's propped up to the spotlight. I don't know if distraction. I don't know if to keep like manly alpha, energy in our society, so they can't take that because you got the Dems and the left. They're always trying to take away the male alpha energy and
Yeah.
toxicity and all that. But then he served his part, and then after he served his part, now all this stuff is coming out about him and his dad, and his dad is the one that was really in charge, but his dad went to jail. He couldn't be involved. It's crazy. I went deep on this, but he was definitely a psyop at what was going on with that whole thing, and that's why I was like, oh, this is a false flag. Not a crisis actor event, not a hoax, but a false flag, because the false flags, people die, So I don't know. He was one of the first ones that really I was paying attention to him, and it was a big distraction back then. It was a big distraction.
He's been very critical of of Israel and the Jews, and I don't know him, but boy, he's screaming CIA to me.
Well, same thing with Tate, right? So Andrew Tate is another one. His father was CIA, and the whole thing when they seized his assets, and this is just me, the way I look at it, like, so he got accused of trafficking children, or not trafficking women, right? And the whole thing was, it was Romania, so their consent to have sex is completely different. The age is completely different than America.
I think it's 16 there.
16, yeah. So you could be 28 with a 16-year-old. Like, we would put you in a wood chipper over here.
Right,
right. I mean? It's like a whole nother level over here. And then he had some girl. They said it was role playing. It was his girlfriend. He was smacking around, beating the shit out of her, and that caused a lot of controversy with him. So they use that. To bring that level in. But I always think if they're controlled and they put it in there, there's the good guys can always use the bad guys too, to keep, that level of alpha in there. But, there could be a script with it. Like, hey, you got to do this. He's even said it. He's like, the Illuminati will take you down, when you get to a certain level and you don't do what they tell you to do. They're like gatekeepers, but then they're also whistleblowers telling the truth and slowly red pilling, the normies.
Yep.
So, I definitely, you can get caught up in the rabbit holes for months. Like, fuck, I found this, and this. But Dan, I was really, really shocked to find out that his father was arrested, like Bernie Madoff type shit. I was like shocked to find out about that with that guy, Dan Blazarian, or Blazarian, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, Blazarian. He's Armenian. He's got Armenian citizenship. He actually joined the military there.
Oh, what is that telling you?
yeah. That's what I was saying. I should have shared that when I said what I said. But what's really interesting here, Skript, is just in terms of, as you're looking deeper into these guys, and you kind of see this profile. But the bottom line here is, you don't get huge unless you've got support.
Yep.
And you and I have anything but support. We've lost account after account after account after account. We've been demonetized. We've been, by the way, I don't fuck with that. I put up your website, Skriptkeeper.com, because I don't fuck with Linktree.
What'd they do to you?
First of all, they showed that my accounts, PayPal and Venmo, were connected, so I lost both of those. This was early 22, and then they canceled me.
I started using them around, I would say probably around 22 going into 23, like at the end. And I did notice, like, at first it was telling me, I could see that I was getting like 100,000 people going there weekly, right? And they weren't paying, because I was putting up, Fall the Cabal, look up any document. How bad is your batch? Like, I was putting things in there for the normies, because I have a lot of music followers and fans.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, let's look at this and see what this is. So I stayed with that. But as soon as I put in the PayPal and the Venmo, I watched all of the clicks, and I posted this every day. I watched it all go down. And then people are like, yo, your link tree's not working. I'm like, what do you mean my link tree's not working?
Yeah.
Like, this is a big server. And
Yep.
so I understand what you were saying, but they linked you in. Did you make your, this is another thing I found out later on, your PayPal and, links that you used for any donations or money transactions, were they made on an IP address that was banned? Like a phone? Did you make it the original one? Was it the same email from that phone?
Yeah, I mean, it was my my cell phone, and then it tied into my bank account, and my ex has lost her PayPal because we share a savings account.
That's it. It's an imprint. I was talking about this the other day on the live. So they have a digital imprint on us, unfortunately. So like this phone, right? This phone is now a clone of my new Android. But if I was to turn this phone on, they won't let me. It's paid off. I paid $500, paid it off and everything. I went to go get a SIM card to put it in there. I was like, oh, I'll get, what was it, Boost Mobile? So I got the Boost Mobile. As soon as I put it in, locked. So I went to Boost Mobile. I'm like, why is it locked? And they were like, oh, it's saying that, Verizon has it locked. You didn't pay it off. I'm like, here's the receipt from the American Express right here. I showed him. I'm like, what are you talking about? So he walked away from the computer, and I went in, not into his computer, but I went like this to look because I'm curious. And I look, and it's got crosses on my names, like my name, my information. And it says unrecognizable data print. And that's when I started studying algorithms and all this stuff. Main thing I was trying to say was, if you've made any PayPals, Venmos, Cash Apps from a banned IP address or a banned phone, a banned device, it's all linked. It follows you everywhere you go.
So I have two numbers on this phone now, two separate carriers, and I'm going to try to go back into the PayPal Venmo with the new number. Will that not work? Because
don't do that, because it's still connected. Make new accounts. Make all new accounts from your phone. So, like, say you have a PayPal and Venmo, take that money and just get whatever's in there. Just move it out, deposit it, or
that's already gone. It's like
delete those. Delete those accounts. Get rid of them. Make the new.
It won't let me. The PayPal won't let me delete because it's under investigation or some shit.
Started with a new email in your other new phone with the new IP address, and they can't do nothing because I've made another PayPal. Just to see if I could do it. I made a second PayPal, so I was able to do it for TikTok. Right, cool. So with TikTok, with the creators on TikTok, you have to have a PayPal. As soon as you get to 12,000 followers, you have to set up a PayPal account because, they give you coins or whatever the hell that crap is. And so I did it, and I'm like, okay, they wouldn't accept the PayPal. So I said, let me try something. So I went on my new phone, made it. It worked.
Are you still doing TikTok?
Yeah, so all my videos that I made, like the recent one I did, I'll make it on TikTok, and I've been getting a little bit of viewage on there. Me and Miller Time. I don't know if you follow him. It's another one of my friends. Miller, he's been getting suspended a lot too, and I don't know. I made these two accounts, and they're still going. So
all right, there you go.
Still rocking.
So in terms of the way, so if they have a large following and they're making tons of money, chances are, that's a red flag, is what we're saying, is that, they're keeping us down without question.
Yeah, they don't want us coming up because we're going to question what they're doing. What's the validity of it? Like I said, if they have all that money and they have all that time to go take all these vacations and travel the world, and they're making they don't need to be on here. If they're making money away from here, there's no reason to be on the podcast and talk to people, right? There's no reason for them to give us intel and drops and all that if they're making all that money from their business. But if they're on here, then they're making it from here. They're making it from the subscriptions, the donations, whatever it is. So let us see if they want to gain their trust back to the community and they want to try. So we know that they're not CIA and we know that they're not, controlled ops. Let's see what you can do for the children. That's what we want to see. We want to see what you can do for the children. We want to see you get involved in communities. Show up to a protest, not a fucking Las Vegas event where you're pulling up in a Ferrari and coming to do a movie premiere to a grift that we already know about.
Dude, I was at that building. I left before he showed up, and I went and I broke down this investigative reporting about the Rust shooting.
Yeah,
that I did from Vegas, and it was badass. But the number one story coming out of that fucking Vegas that night wasn't Dave Snedeker tying in all this shit on the Rust shooting. It was Wano fucking Savin showing his face for the first time.
Yeah, and then they were getting ready for the premiere in the next couple of weeks for Sound of the Freemason. I mean, Freedom. My bad.
Yeah. So I want to take us to this last drop, and then I want to talk about what happened with this new indictment. So let me take us to, this is the drop 8. And the reason why I do drop 8 is because there were 8 retruths of, what are you doing, dude? No, stop.
Diesel's sleeping.
6 months old, dude. He's like, he just has to have something in his mouth.
Sneakers and everything. Let's go.
Dina says, I remember when you were there in Vegas. I watched that video. It was great. Nobody has made that connection. Like, I connected the law firm, the Ukraine. I basically said that what's his name? Baldwin was forced to do that hit and take her out and send a message to her husband, who was a lawyer for Latham and Watkins, and Latham and Watkins got the Ukraine $6 billion that they should have lost in this court case. Long story, but in 1911 court case that was the precedent for what Ukraine was doing with these 3 Cypriot countries. They were making money, but they weren't charging any money for the energy for the Ukraine citizens, and you're not allowed to do that by 1911. This 1911 law. So, at any rate, they should have lost $6 billion. The Latham and Watkins kept it. It was tied into also Perkins Coie, and it was a big deal. Like, but no one else has ever covered that since.
The only thing I remember. So you're talking about Baldwin with the shooting.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I was able to connect was that she was involved with this movie that was supposed to come out about human trafficking.
There was a lot of speculation on that. I never found any receipts on that, because it was going around that Bennington and Cornell were doing it, and they were exposing what's his name, but then they were throwing like her in there, and Hesh, they threw her in there, that they took her out for the same reason, and I never saw any receipts.
She didn't die though. She popped up out of the freaking.
That was unbelievable, dude. Like, how do you? Yeah, that's unbelievable.
I was like, nah, I don't believe it. Even if they switched it up, that was some quick switch up, because it was the same ambulance, the same person pushing, and then she just like popped up out of the bag. Like, that was crazy,
dude. When this all gets revealed, man, there's going to be so much that we're going to be like, no way, et cetera, et cetera. So, real quick, Dina was asking what your thoughts are, and then I'll go to the drop. But asking, and I'd like you to talk about this for a minute, if you can, on what your thoughts are on the no taxation, like breaking free from the system.
You mean,
have you looked into that?
Or slowly going into taxation without representation is
kind of like the stuff that David Straight pushes and Ann Vandersteel.
There's 2 different things. You have state, national.
Yeah.
State,
and I'm going to let this dude out while you talk.
Yeah. I'll run it. So you have state nationalism, you have state nationals. Then you also have sovereigns. You have people that just feel that they're a living, breathing man or a living, breathing woman. And, you have inalienable rights that were endowed to you by your creator. And, there's so many different levels as it goes. So a lot of people say, I got my state national card. Like, oh, I'm a state national. I can't be touched. Well, I can show you things. If you follow me for a while, I showed you one guy that, he had diplomatic immunity. He had the tax identification number, non-citizen, the whole thing, like separated. So what they did to this guy that was doing is operating like a state national, not a sovereign. What they did to him is they set him up for murder. I know two other people that got set up for murder. When you have a deep state, a blue state, okay, and in some red states, they usually, like Florida, they want to give you your sovereignty. They believe in the constitutional republic and so forth, so they don't really mess with you down here. But if you step out of line against the law and they're violating it, the chances are that you'll wind up dead if you try to resist or go at them in that way. But in New York, Chicago, these heavily controlled Democratic blue states, right? They do not respect any sovereignty. They do not respect state nationals. They do not, because when you become a state national, they put you on a do not detain list. This is their major thing that they sell you on. If you go through, and I know because they put it sovereign citizen, that's an oxymoron. There's no such thing. You're either a sovereign or you're a citizen. It's one of the two. But they literally went through New York or Connecticut, somewhere in the tri-state area. I think it was Jersey. And they wound up getting locked up. So they didn't respect that whole state national thing. They didn't respect any of that. So for me, I think it has to be a joint thing where we, the people, actually have to make those moves to correct our statuses. But they don't respect it because you still have gold fringes still being swung back and forth on these flags in some of these states. Some of the other states don't have gold fringes. And they do respect sovereignty and they do respect the Constitution and they do believe in a constitutional republic instead of a democratic republic. So I do believe there's a thin line. Look at the guy that they killed in, I think it was Michigan. He was saying that he was they were reporting he was a sovereign citizen, but he was just a sovereign. And they wound up killing him. They wound up shooting him because he's uncontrollable. Once you move as a sovereign and you correct your state, you don't exist on paper no more. You're not part of the America. I mean, that's how it truly is when I look at it as the state national thing. Like, if you go on that do not detain list, you're actually giving up your rights to the country. That's just me. I know David Lester Straight says something else, but they also took his kids too. That's
CPS. They took his wife. His wife's in prison right now.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? They don't respect it. So, I'm very skeptical.
David, I know David, and I know Bobby Lawrence, and Bobby Lawrence and David have split, and Bobby Lawrence is going at it a different way, and supposedly a better way, an easier way, and they're trying to figure that out now.
How is he doing it?
It has to do with instead of changing your birth certificate from the get-go, it has to do with changing your name legally in court from capital D A V I D.
Oh, you mean to capital and then lower?
Yeah, so you change it from the all caps to the proper.
Okay.
And then that's your new name, and then you go about business because all the all caps no longer pertain to you.
Yeah, because the all caps is like a gravestone, basically. Like you're dead at sea. You have the holy see, the holy papal, like that whole thing with birthing, your birth certificate, your birthing, you're born, birthing on
maritime law
now, and maritime admiralty. But see, here's the big thing with the admiralty and all that. Is for me was Jacob Rothschild dying and then the jack being wrapped with a black cover, and the horse is going down in London.
Yeah.
This was like precedent over King Charles, over the Queen. They literally showed you what title this guy had. He died, and for me, I just think that was the symbology that we were looking for as far as the admiralty over this country, because we're all over the place right now with this country as far as like the old guard falling and collapsing. And
what is it? The one you were just talking about? Are you talking about when the horse was out on the street? Out
yeah,
on
they were in London, and he was dead, and they had the flag was there, but it was wrapped in a black cover, their jack, and it went down the street, and Jacob Rothschild just died at that moment. And they usually just do that for the king or the queen. They don't do that for anybody else. So it was showing us that, a dynasty just died, and then what happened with Prince, he revealed that he's a descendant of Vladimir, Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
That's what he was showing. The red in the back, and the demon, and the blood like Dracula. And these guys are showing us, like, they don't give a flying fuck.
Without question.
Yeah, we're peasants to them,
And and they laugh about it. Hey, did you see me, show the whole world that I'm, and they're like, yeah, I saw it. It's like high five. It's like these fucking idiots, these useless eaters. They'll do anything we tell them.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, you see certain things. I mean, but for me, all right. So for me, when I saw that, I did a great decode on it. I think it got like 200,000 views on TikTok, and I was just breaking down what I had already known about the Rothschilds. And I've been saying since then, where's Orsini at? We have not seen Pepe Orsini. That's the Borgias. That's, the Aldobrandinis, the Farneses, the guy. That is the top. That motherfucker goes all the way back to Pontius Pilate. His bloodline is traced. 76 AD. That's how far Pepe Orsini's bloodline goes back. So
the great Pope and the black nobility.
Yeah, the black Immobiliari. Okay, so I thought Immobiliari was just something that they said in The Godfather. So Al Pacino goes and he's talking about Immobiliari to the Pope. This is when they were making him Godfather, but he was going to be in charge of kind of the black nobility. They called it Immobiliari. I was like, oh, that's just part of the film. If you look up Immobiliari and you really break it down.
How do you spell that?
So it's, from what I know, it's Immobiliari, Immobiliari, or double L. I can't remember. Shit. I got to find that decode. I'll find that for you. That shit is buried deep in my phone.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
I just want to see what something comes up on it. But I had a whole bunch of stuff that connected it in, and then the black nobility, the House of Orsini, and then how they changed the names. And they have these fights within the families too, as far as like the Knights at the Round Table. You heard that story, right? The Project Camelot thing, the whole thing with Diana, the Kennedys, and Trump. And you notice how they always throw this down.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are always up. And we were always thinking, oh, it's the tip of the spear. Oh, it's phallus worship. It's, the worship of the vagina, and, all the crazy stuff, right, that we heard. But it was actually the tip of the spear that this guy's fucking bloodline stuck inside Jesus's rib. They pulled it out, and that tip of the spear was, that's called the spear of destiny. There it is. There you go. You pulled it up.
This is a real estate company.
Italian?
It's an Italian real estate company.
Holy shit. How long have they been? Can we find out how long they've been around for? And what's the actual meaning of this? Because I've never seen this part before. Yeah, see, I was off. The Liaare.
Let me see.
I'm going to try and find on my end too.
But so yeah, see if you can find that post. I'll share it. I'll share it. By the way, we got no. Why do you want this so badly? What is it about this? I gave you treats. I don't know what to do. I'm here. His face cracks me up, man. The way he looks at me. So so this this goes to the heart of it.
It goes into the real estate, but I can't find out how far back it goes because this, you got to remember, if this just popped around, the Mobilari just popped around and it's been in, I don't know, for 10 years. When did they make the Godfather sequel? How long ago was that made? When did they come up with this? So I'm just trying to find the origins, but I did have a breakdown about this.
Cool.
I just got to find it.
But basically, we're looking at the House of Orsini, the Black Nobility, the Gray Pope, which is the real power.
Yeah, the Gray Pope, the Black Pope is kind of like the Jesuit. They're all Jesuits, but the Black Pope is the one that commands the the atrocities, the military movements, the wars. The White Pope is the spiritual guidance, and then the Gray Pope is like, I got the money. I tell you what to fucking do.
The money.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a dive I'd love to go into with you.
Set that up. We should set that up. I'll get all my receipts. You get all your receipts, and we'll sit down and we'll break this down one night and go through the whole 13 families.
That'd be awesome. I would love to do that, because that is getting to the heart of it. No, you don't get this. I'm sorry. No.
Diesel's knocked out, bro. Diesel is he's done. He's like me. He's
that right?
At 5 a.m.
So
somebody said Knights Templar. Yeah, they definitely go back. The Knights rescue relics from Rome, Jerusalem. Well, we all know the regular story about the Knights Templar, how they ran the banking system, and then while they were running the banking system at that time, what was it, King Philip? He wanted to borrow more money. He was already in debt. The Knights Templars told him no. So he went to Constantine and was like, make them give that money to me. Constantine tried to do it. He said no. Pope Pius was like, yo, we're outlawing the Knights Templars. They're going to have to go underground. We're taking the banking system from them, seizing it. And that's how, the Freemasons went underground. They outlawed them. From my understanding. I'm sorry, I should say this is my opinion. From what I understand, from what I researched. Oh, you're on mute, Dave. Oh, he's got to take the dog out. Let me see what's in here. Shout out to everybody in the chat and Rumble, and shout out to everybody that's watching from wherever you're at right now.
We got
everybody else is.
We got 945 on Rumble and 1857 on all the other platforms. So we're at about 2,800 right now.
Yeah,
nice crowd.
That's a lot of people watching, man. Yeah, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do a drop on the whole. Go into the 13 families and then go into the names that we know, like the ones that became American and British and English.
That might be our last show ever.
No, I've done it.
Well.
They were censoring me on Instagram. They wouldn't let me talk too much about it. But I do know, when you go into the certain characteristics, there is one family which are the Somalis, and those are the three black men that went to Rome. They were at the Vatican, and the Pope went down, got on his knees, and he kissed each one of these three black men's feet. That's the Somali family. Those are from the tribe of Israel. That's how far back that goes. And they're gonna be like, "Wait, what, Skript?" Yeah, it goes deep, man. This shit goes deep. But this is probably one of my favorite subjects. Shout out to everybody in the chat again. I see Riz is in there. I see Bite Master's in there. Let's see who else. Gigi's in there. Bam has been going in hard. He's talking about the center of the octagon. Give me the MMA shape. You can't get stuff. If you look at Israel, yeah, that's all connected. So if you take, I'm jumping all over the place right now, but if you take the Tamda, I can't even pronounce this. It's the Ukrainian crest. The Ukrainian crest goes back even further. Same thing with the Star of David. That goes back to Remphan, which was, a deity and evil. And that's how they took that and threw that in there. And that's why, there you go. It's the coat of arms, and it goes back to the Tamga. I can't remember the whole breakdown I did on this, but it gets deep, man. This definitely gets deep. And then this is connected into, this goes back to the Nazis. It also goes back to the Black Sun. It also goes back even further than that. There's so many different angles. They've changed everything on us, Dave. Everything. The swastika goes back thousands of years before Hitler, before Germany, like thousands of years.
It's and we must remember too that Q said symbolism will be their downfall, because we're waking up to all the symbolism. We're seeing all this.
Yeah.
Right.
I never paid attention to this stuff. I knew about that, 1776. But even that, a lot of people don't know. They changed so many things. Did you ever hear the theory that they added 1,000 years on, or 100 years on, so that Pope at that time could rule in 1000 AD? Did you ever hear about that?
No, I don't think so.
And the Dark Ages never happened. There's a lot of theories that are out there. And the one thing I heard is it was they were saying it was like I-786 on the coins, but it really wasn't. It was 1. Like right now, we're not in 2024. It's more like, I think 2384 or 2324, but they changed it. They changed our history, especially around the Tartarian time. A lot of things were changed to throw us off, so we wouldn't know our true potential.
Well, yeah, I mean everything's thrown off. The frequency of the music, right? 132 to 144. That we're on a spinning globe. Not our true location or place in the world. That we're an accident. The chemicals in our food, the chemicals in our water, the chemicals in our air. I mean, everything is meant to throw us out of balance and to keep us weak. Sporter says, when you go deep, I think he's talking to both of us, but
no dark web for me, guys. I got other sources, though. I have other source engines. I try to stay. If you don't have built-in VPNs, I have friends that they used to crack people's shit and get into their stuff, find their finances, find, anything you could think of, they'd go find it. One thing I know is if you don't have like a triple wall VPN, and that VPN is not running on your phone or your computer, no, you do not go and do shit like that, because they'll find you. And, I always tell everybody, don't go look at, people say, oh, let me go look at friends, but don't even waste your time. We're way past that. It's not even worth it to see any of that shit.
And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So, I know it's there. We know it's there. We don't have to prove it over and over again.
Khazarian Mafia. That's what I was talking about. Khazarian Mafia is the Orsini's. The Orsini's bloodline goes back to Pontius Pilate, 76 AD. I mean, they give a little bit in the Wikipedia, but remember, Wikipedia can be edited, deleted, and so forth. But when we really tapped into going down these routes, there's a few people that I see in the chat on Rumble. They know, like, I spent like 4 hours, and they took that live down. Like, I went in hard on everything, especially with the Hazars, because it's not Khazarian, it's Hazarian. That's how it's really pronounced. Hazarian Mafia. We always say Khazarian.
The K is silent.
They corrected me on that. But yeah, that's where it goes. You also have to go back to your Bible, the synagogue of Satan. The synagogue of Satan would be separated. They do bloodlettings and practice ancient Babylonian Talmud rituals, that are an abomination to God. They don't believe that Jesus Christ rose from the dead. So that's when you read that in your Bible. It's mentioned a few times. When they say the synagogue of Satan, they're talking about the people that are, mock God and mock Jesus and so forth.
Bamlo says, did you ever hear the alien predators come back every 100 years to kill the reptilians off? I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's from the movie Predator.
Is that right?
The movie Predator.
That's funny.
It is. It literally is the movie Predator.
That's funny. Yeah, awesome content tonight. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to do that on the Black Nobility. So let me go to this last drop, this number 8 drop from the let me see, bring it up here. And then so 8 August 29th, 2017. This was the second day of the post. Huma, husband in jail, HRC, Muslim Brotherhood, or child. What would you do? Kiss your child goodbye and leave without a mother or father for Clinton? Where is Huma today? Was she with HRC on her book tour?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and then also regarding military intelligence, state secrets, no FBI, POTUS installed his people within each top spot at each 3-letter agency except one. Good reason there, as Admiral Rogers kickstarted this and scrubbed all POTUS nominations to verify oath. Do you think they aren't in control of those respective agencies? What is most valuable? Information. AG sessions on leakers, fire or prosecute. Reorganization is underway and happening. Coincidence, Senate Republicans pushing for federal judge confirmations last week. Why are Senate Republicans dropping out? Not by choice, and were offered a choice. Rest assured, they will vote pro-Trump.
That's a fact.
And what's very interesting is that as they're talking about the and that was 8 from that how many times he retruthed that. And if you look up at Hillary Clinton's X account, you'll see her pinned account is her book tour. So did Trump, by redoing the Spiritual Street Fighter 17's memes and artwork 8 times today, was Trump sending us to number 8? Q has told us many times, follow Huma. Okay. And this is basically breaking down, what would you do? Kiss your child goodbye and leave without a mother or father? And you're going to do that for Hillary Clinton?
Right?
No. Right.
That's
so they're
crazy,
basically
bro.
saying Huma took a deal and she turned on all these motherfuckers.
That's why she's with Soros now, exposing him, got him in the light.
Exactly. And then if you go to Hillary's pinned tweet, that I've shared with you all, here's her book tour. Okay. Now she had a book tour years ago, but we're thinking Q drops are working backwards. Here's the book tour here. Okay. And what's very interesting is a couple things on this. One, Skript, look where she's going to be October 27th. I'm sorry, October 17th.
I'm going to make a stop down there.
Durham, North Carolina. Durham. You think that's an accident? 17, Durham.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And then you got October 15th, Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, you're going to have to go see her.
See if my head bobbles.
Yeah, exactly. And this is CST. I'm CST. So this is 901, which is 1001 in the drops. And I showed you guys this the other night. 1001 takes us to Epstein Island. Where do roads lead? Each prince is associated with a cardinal direction: north, south, east, and west. Sacrifice, collect, sacrifice the children, collect the adrena. Classified 1, classified 2, tunnels. Table 29, the exact specific location: D room H, D room R, D room C, HRC, pure evil, conspiracy. This is the exact location on this island that she, by the way, 187 these children and took their adreno. And by the way, the other day when Trump was saying 187, 187, he said it 3 times. And he said 187 is a beautiful number. Beautiful, meaning that's Hillary, beautiful Hillary.
Oh, beautiful
right?
Hillary.
And it's a beautiful place. Why would you say 187 is a place? Because Trump was leading us to this. I guarantee it, folks. This is, the comms are just off the charts, and there's no accidents here. So I'm
You think it's Teresa or Hillary's?
What's that?
Skin mask, Teresa or Hillary?
I think that's a good question. The one at the DNC was some kind of mask, I think. But I don't know. I don't think she's been around for a while. But you never know.
I mean, so there was a couple of things. It's always the height. So Teresa is a lot shorter.
Now you're talking about her body, her double, like
Teresa Longwell. She's a lot shorter, and I think she's younger than her. And then the guy that played, what's his name? Bill? The one where he looked like his eyes were sunken. He looked like he was like dead.
Yeah.
Was a lot taller. And then they were like, oh, she's wearing heels in that one. And she wasn't. She had flats on. And he had, regular shoes on. So I believe like they were replaced. But then, we won't know. Remember, this is not for us to know everything. It's just for us to put the breadcrumbs together and for us to get the source. The source would be us just getting more people out of the matrix and awakening them to how bad it is, right and left, and who the key players are and who they tie into. Some people like to go deeper. They like, oh, Hillary and them, the hell with them. They want to go deeper. That's why I'm on Orsini. That's why I like going to find out what the hell Orsini's doing.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, like there's so many different things that is. So for anybody to, say that Q is a LARP and all that. I mean, really, all for a LARP? All this for a LARP? To identify us? Where's the guillotines? Where's my FEMA camp? Where, I see a lot of people pushing a lot of fear porn. That's cool if you're going to teach them how to come away from the fear porn and how to research for themselves. But if they're not teaching it, they're just using fear porn and probably grifting off of it.
Yeah. Speaking of fear, what do you think about this Trump? You and I were talking today about how we know people at Rikers. We know that they have a wing for Trump. Mm-hmm. They've spent money so they're ready for him. Like if they send him to prison tomorrow, Rikers is ready. Hey, what do you think with this new indictment that came down today, which is basically, my understanding of it is that Jack Smith is basically just taking the things that aren't within the Supreme Court's immunity decision and focusing on those and trying to bring that up.
The way he's operating is completely unconstitutional.
Yes.
He was illegally put into this position. If they do that, I think this is my opinion. I think it's because the Republican side is not fully awake. See, the left was fully awake because they were woke. They just used a different term. Remember, the left and the right are completely different mindsets and frame of mind. Yes, some people were paid, but when it first started back in 2020 and the before the riots, then they were just doing BLM protests. They weren't infiltrated with money yet. They weren't buying these houses in Beverly Hills and all over the place like that. They weren't doing that yet. The money wasn't there. So people were just standing up. They were awake. They were like, we're tired of the police, standing over us with a boot of tyranny. That's where that's where their mindset was. They were fighting the system. It's funny how they turn now towards the DNC. Remember when we said they won't be able to walk down the streets without getting called out? And what's happening with them at the DNC? You have Hamas, their baby that they built, and you have all these people going at the DNC. They're not at the Republican convention. They're not screaming, oh, Trump is bad, Trump did this. They're not doing that. They're focusing on the DNC. So I think, everybody's Trump got to do this. And I always say, well, what happens when we don't have Trump? What happens when Trump's not there? Who are we going to have? Are we going to have Don Jr., Eric Trump? Is it Barron? Everybody's got these whole things, but we still have to think for us, we the people. We still have to get back to us because, the day that he said it, we return the power back to you, the people. So I think that if Trump was removed, I don't think he's going to go to Rikers, just my opinion, but they'll say it.
Right.
They'll say that. I mean, like Bill Cosby. Did anybody ever do an interview? Hey, I was locked up with Bill Cosby. He was on, pod 4, tier 7. Like, nobody came out and said that, right? So it's like, what do we really know? What do we really know from what they tell us and say to us? Has any correction officers said that they were in jail watching Hunter Biden, or they were watching Bill Cosby, or what's the other guy's name? R. Kelly and all these people. R. Kelly, I think, is the only one that people were saying, yes, we saw R. Kelly, he was in jail with us and so forth. So my point being is if they remove Trump, the Republicans would go, even MAGA would go,
right.
Like, what do we do? And it's like a precipice. We're still not at the precipice. A lot of people want this black swan false flag event to happen. And I think we've passed that. In my mind, that was the camper and the RV in Tennessee. That was my analogy of it when when
Trump talked about taking an RV with Melania around the country.
No. The Black Swan event, like the big false flag event that was supposed to happen. I was thinking that was the RV when they found out the servers were at the AT&T Batman building.
In Nashville.
Blew it up.
The explosion. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were letting people know, hey, get out of the area. This thing's going to probably go off. And then that happened. I mean, we haven't seen an event really like that on American soil. I mean, I haven't seen that yet. Have we?
I don't think so. I mean, there was that explosion across the street from. It took us to that drop. Was it 44? Was that the number? There was an explosion like a month and a half ago or something. Where was that?
It was an explosion that just happened recently, wasn't it?
Yeah. It might have been in July, which was what did
July was hot and heavy.
Yeah, what Kim Clement said strange July.
Yeah, and he also talked about a hotel explosion. Was that
in Chicago?
I'm trying to look at it. Black time. No.
Yeah. Hey guys, what was that? It was half a house blew up. I remember that. That was in Virginia. That half a house. But
I just found a Mandela effect. I don't remember ever hearing this. Just from looking up what I'm looking up, I just put explosions on American soil recently, right?
Yeah.
And look what comes up. I'm going to try and show you in the camera. Black Tom 1916 bombing. And this is on the FBI.gov site. Sorry, this is what happens when we start looking
I
down
know, right?
your decos. I start finding other shit. I gotta save this before I lose it. I don't even remember this. It's saying that this is weird, dude. I don't remember ever hearing this. It's saying July 30th, 1916, German agents blew up the Black Tom Railroad yard in New Jersey, killing 4 in a clear act of sabotage. Dude, I don't know.
Who's responsible for that?
German agents in 1916. We weren't even at World War II. Bro, I'm telling you, this happens. Shit like this happens. I remember looking up Ghislaine Maxwell's charge, and I got the CR-230 that had to do with her charge and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, they flew something in, and it was a 3-page exemption form accepted by the U.S. government from vaccines. And I got it and started putting it up. I lost 3 accounts by putting it up. So, like, I'm going to look into this now because this has got my mind boggled. But anyways, let's go back to what you were saying. Can we find what happened recently with explosions?
Yeah, guys, what was the explosion? Not the house in Virginia. That was. And by the way, I don't think that was a gas leak. That house in Virginia.
No.
No way. And there was some kind of connection there too. I found this connection between the person that got blown up. And guys, Snedheads, do you guys remember what that was? Because I made the connection between the house in Virginia to something that was going on. It was significant, and I think it was a missile strike. But the one that we saw it was a bank, and then it was a number, and I think it was 44. And the bank explosion.
That's kind of crazy. The whole thing is kind of crazy.
Let's see. Brian Stavely talks about Black Tom event a lot on his Mandela Effect show. Okay.
Yeah, and they're saying that it's a Mandela Effect. I've never heard of it.
This is it, I think. Bank in Ohio a couple months ago.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yep.
All right, here it is. Thank you, RZA 43812. Here we go.
It's RZA. RZA.
Is that RZA?
I just call him the RZA from Wu-Tang.
Cool. So the most significant bank-related explosion in the United States recently occurred in Youngstown, Ohio on May 28, 2024. This incident involved an explosion at the Realty Tower, which houses a Chase Bank. You were just talking about that. Branch on its ground floor and apartments above. Here are the key details. It was a crew cutting a gas line in the building's basement, mistakenly thinking it was not pressurized. This was confirmed by the National Transportation Safety Board. Yeah, we trust you. One bank employee died. Let's see. Oh, and by the way, speaking of banks, Warren Buffett sold almost $1 billion worth of stock today.
Yeah, BOA, right?
And Bank of America, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's got a lot of cash he's sitting on. Wonder what he thinks is going to happen to the economy, to the market. So let me see if I can find images, Youngstown, Ohio explosion.
I saw them trying to, another thing while you're going, they were trying to discredit that President Trump being over there at Arlington, and the families asked them to do that. And there's a couple of people that was trying to say that was true. No, only the president does that, just so you guys know.
So they asked him to do that. The families asked him to do that. But what you're saying is
the only one that does it is the president. Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's there. You can Google it. I mean, these guys that try to debunk everything, they're like, yeah, well, Google says it right here. I'm like, okay, well, Google it then.
Yeah, that was suspect. That was like, okay, Biden's on vacation, Kamala's nowhere to be seen, and there was one image with that had, I think it was 44 in it. Like there was, oh, here it is. There we go. I had the number right. 44 Huntington Bank. Right. So basically, we were going to 44 Huntington Bank because that was the image that popped up first when that explosion happened, the video.
And that popped out. Is that Huntington or Huntingdon?
I think it's Huntington, and then this came up. Obviously, they to go into the drops. We were hoping that before POTUS departs on Friday, he will be sending an important message via Twitter. God bless. So we were kind of hoping that if that was a sign, that might be nice to see. We're over 2,000 on multiple platforms, and then over another almost 1,000 on Rumble. We're at 940 on Rumble. So welcome everybody. Skriptkeeper out of Florida, really close to the Flynn camp down there.
Far, bro. Sarasota's like 3 hours from me, bro. I'm on a lake though. I am by the water.
I'm gilling you, man. I'm gilling you.
Yeah, he's so jealous. That's why every time I go live, I go right by the lake. Wait till I go to the beach.
Yeah. So yeah, what's the it's interesting. So
oh God.
But that explosion, I can't remember why I brought up that explosion. Oh, because you were talking about Nashville.
Yeah, with the RV and all that. And then when I start, so somebody did say that was a Mandela effect, though, as we get back to that Black Tom Railroad.
Yeah.
What the hell did that come from? I've never heard of that. And I've paid attention to every like false flag registered event that was recorded and FBI.gov and they put it up. And I don't remember that one, man. This is 1916. German agents blew up the Black Tom Black Railroad in New Jersey. 4 people died. Say what?
Yeah, I've never heard that before ever.
They would, I think, any president, Republican side, would use that as a talking piece of like how they infiltrate and come for us, and they're so jealous of America and our freedoms and our values and to the core, and I think we would have heard about that. Nothing, not a peep.
Yeah, I mean, we could do another show on this, but what do you think of the Mandela effect?
I think it's the timelines when they opened up CERN. CERN being on, then DARPA, HARP, and then running all the frequencies at the same time. I think it did open portals. I think you had, people say, "Oh, well, that's all crazy nonsense." Yeah, okay, we've seen crazy shit. I mean, friends of mine saw a calendar. It was, I forget the day it was. I think it was July. It was last year, June or July, and they turned CERN on. Whenever they turned CERN on, that day their calendar switched physically in front of them. And I thought they're playing games with me. I'm like, stop. They were like, I'm not playing. The calendar physically changed in front of us. And it was like the guy with the Berenstein bear. It was Bernstein bears. Then it was Berenstein. And
Bernstein.
Yeah, like they were like,
yeah,
they would walk into this room. I watched a video on YouTube. I mean, you could fake anything. But the thing was changing. And I'm like, how the hell are they doing that? How are they changing the book? And now we know that they can do everything with AI and all that stuff. So.
Well, Riza is basically saying never heard of it and was a history teacher for 10 years.
You were a history teacher, bro? I'm telling you, like, I pay attention to history. History is like my,
yeah, same.
Geography, history, anything that, has to do with America itself, anything that happened that changed and shaped the course of our, of our reality. And that's something I never heard of. I've never heard of that before. At all. It's really kind of weird. Yeah, he's the grifter of all time.
That's awesome.
I said that today. I said that. So he put up go. Everybody's been saying that the grifter of all time. Everybody should go to his Rumble when he gets his 34 bazillion viewers, and just run in there and just be like grifter of all time because he thinks he's.
Hey, did I tell you we were at 3,000? We got over 3,000. I misspoke. I meant we're at 3 million.
3 million. We are at 3 million viewers right now, guys. I'm telling you, man, we got more viewers than Tucker Carlson. He sounds so crazy when he says this shit, man.
Oh my God. Big Gouda says Flintstones turned to Flintstones, then back to Flintstones. Yeah, that one was crazy.
That was a crazy one. What was the other ones that I saw? Shazam.
Yeah.
About Sinbad. Sinbad said it never existed. Yet there's people I know that have the VCR tape, the VHS tape. I don't know, guys. I don't know. We got Mandela effects.
Do you think that we're in a simulation?
I mean, it could be a simulation. I also think that here's what I think it is, and this is just my personal opinion. I think that the Looking Glass, CERN, DARPA, they had this already. They had this technology. There's nothing new under the sun. We've all heard that term, right? But it was created. You have to remember that the angels that fell from heaven, they had technology up there. Don't think that they didn't have technology in heaven, and they didn't have like these weapons of mass destruction and all. They had all this stuff up there. I mean, there's some parts in Enoch, and I think there's one other part in the Bible where they describe that the angels had like swords coming out of their arms and all types of stuff. So just think, Satan took a third of the angels, and he was considered, Lucifer, the light bearer, right? And then he became Satan because he was casted down to his belly, and then he came back up. So back to a reptilian. That's where you get your reptilian blood from, and so forth, right? The 200 main angels. I have them all written down, all the names, like Izazu and Azrael. There's a whole bunch of them, but each one played a part in history. They all played a part in history. Like Izazu taught man how to put paint, makeup on, paint on their face, and forge weapons of steel. Now, the Greeks called them Ares, not Izazu. It was Ares, just like you had different names. So each society had a different name for these gods, these demigods. We'll put it that way. So I believe they already had this technology. Where did the Grand Canyon come from? Why are they finding all these mummies and all these, giants? The Smithsonian shows right up anytime there's a giant skull found from the Nephilim and all that. So I believe that we've been in a simulation, but God's still in control, and Satan and all of them have to ask for permission according to how we live our free will life. Meaning the ones that get up in the morning, that live a good life, they try to be pure and genuine, and they try to contribute and help people. Satan's like, oh God, they're up again. He's up. Like they fear that type of person that has that unshakable faith, that believe in God, and they believe that their inalienable rights are here, and we have dominion over those gods, over those demons, angels, whatever you want to call them. So I always believe that we've always had the power, and they've done everything. If you read the Secret Covenant, you can see how they blanket us with poisons. Here, take this. Big pharma. They've done all this stuff to keep us poisoned. They poison the air, the food. And then slowly, what are we getting? Robert F. Kennedy talking about no more poison in the food.
Yeah. So
it could be the two timelines smashing. And that's why we're getting these Mandela effects. There could be two timelines actually hitting each other. And God's making it happen. I mean, Kim Clement said there's going to be two presidents.
Yeah.
At the same time, he said other things,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could just be a whole thing. The CIA says we're in simulation. Well, what if the CIA said that so we would think that, there is no God? Why have they worked so hard to keep the Bible out? Why do they make so much fun of Jesus? Why do they always, poking and making fun of these things and hiding everything from us? Why didn't they do that to Buddha? Why didn't they do that to Allah? Why didn't they do that to the Hare Krishnas or Jehovah's Witness or the Mormons? They're not sitting over there making fun of them. They're only making fun of one particular thing and making sure we don't get Bibles. Doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense. It would be what do you call it? Calculated effort to take them all out and make fun of them all, and nothing. One world religion. So I mean, that's how I look at it. It's me, buddy. Come here. You heard him? Come here, buddy.
He's pissed that you're still awake, probably.
Yeah, he's like, yo, why are you still going?
He just woke Jasper up.
Look, who is it?
Hey, dude, how you doing?
Who is it? Who is it?
What's going on?
It's okay. It's okay.
What's going on?
Somebody must have walked by. He must have heard something.
I'm putting you up. I'm putting you up on the big screen so people could see.
Say what's up, bud.
Hey, Diesel. What's up, Diesel?
I know. We should have never mentioned Phil, though. He hates Phil, though. How about Joe Biden? What's up with Joe Biden? Okay. You don't like Joe Biden? How about Kamala? You like Kamala? All right. Okay.
He licked you on Kamala.
No,
that's how she got. That's how she got the gig.
He's just funny. All right, you gotta stop now.
Hey, what's your take on Flynn? One of my listeners said that she heard me defending Flynn a long time ago, but now where I stand, we all defended Flynn at one point.
Oh, I defended him every day.
Yeah, because and took the oath. And this is where some people were like, "Yeah, if you took the oath, you're a Flynn network or whatever."
No, you were taking the oath like the military would take the oath, and you're not enlisted, so you can't take the oath.
Remember when all the digital soldiers were doing it, though?
Yeah, it was to the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
So you took the oath to the Constitution, so you have to protect and defend it.
Yes. Yeah. So
we all can't do that because we're not enlisted in the Army. So it's kind of like you can if you believe that, but technically you would have to belong to some type of military or an office, or you're taking an oath to the Constitution. You're taking an oath to protect and defend against foreign and domestic enemies. The whole bit, right? But technically, you didn't take a seat. You're not a representative. You're not part of Congress. You're not city mayor. You're not, you're not in the Marines. I'm not in the Navy. So, I mean, all of us did it on the grounds of, how we felt about everything. And we were just like, yeah, we want to do our part. So, we're giving allegiance to our country. We're giving allegiance to protect it and so forth. But at the end of the day, it was all trickery. That's how I look at it, because the more and more we look at it, we should have been asking, why did President Trump fire him in the first 23 days?
Right.
Why did he say he lied? He shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have lied. I mean, and it was like that video was kept from us. It was like they kept that video away from us. But I don't remember seeing Trump saying that a lot. I just remember seeing it like once.
Saying what?
Saying that, that Flynn shouldn't have lied.
Mm-hmm.
And he shouldn't have done that. He should have been truthful. And it's not good, and that's what he was talking about. And at that point, he was fired in the first 23 days.
Yeah.
Who else got fired in the first 23 days? And it was a call to Russia. Did they use that for Russia?
Well, yeah, because they were trying to unmask, they unmasked Flynn and, yeah. I mean, that's all coming out. The thing about it is that I said the same thing. Oliver and I were doing a show and I said, it's like basically saying, let's bet on the, who's your football team, Jets or Giants?
Oh, it's always been the Jets, but I'm more of a Giants fan these days.
Okay. So let's say the Giants, we're going to bet on the Giants game, for, the fourth week in the NFL season. It's like, how much you want to bet? you're like, well, wait a minute, wait, I'm not putting bet down until the day of. I want to know if the quarterback's healthy and all this. So it's kind of like we don't really need to know whether Flynn's a good guy or a bad guy.
How much did you research into him?
Flynn? Not much beyond what Ariel was dropping. Like I went down. What's that?
That's one part. Have you ever gone down Breb and Linwood?
A little bit of Breb. A little bit of Breb, yeah.
So the main thing that really stuck out in my head, whether it's Republican or Democrat, why would you make a website that's going to gather all the data and intel on the unvaccinated, sperm, breast milk, and so forth? Then we use 1776. This is a big grift. Where was the Trump 2024 on the back of the Flynn bus? Why didn't he donate?
Yeah.
To Trump's running? I mean, he wouldn't be where he was if it wasn't for Trump. And then why the long wait?
He pardoned him.
Yeah, I know. Why the long wait to endorse Trump? They're just the Flynn team are just endorsing him now. Like, what the fuck were y'all doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, and then the FBI, and then he didn't get his stars and come up under Trump. He came up under Obama. What'd you do for Obama, dude?
Yeah.
General McChrystal hates Trump. McChrystal hates Trump. He don't like Trump at all, And that was his main dude. And then the part of the Luciferian prayer that he did, the
that was creepy, dude.
That ties into Bush with 1,000 points of light. The 7 rays of light tie into the 1,000 points of light. That's one world. He's talked about it. One world, one religion.
And it ties into, Aleister Crowley and Maria Blavatsky.
And Aquino, Michael
Aquino.
Temple of Set.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like too many red flags for me. And I came out, I say, hey, if I'm wrong about Flynn, I'll be the first to apologize.
Yeah.
I'll eat crow and apologize. I don't give a fuck. But then, Joe was like, you're not wrong. I went and said, then I see Ariel's post. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't want to see that. So it was like the inevitable, or Breb would put up. But the biggest part was him saying that Q did a disservice to the movement.
Yeah.
And then that was right after President Trump had retruthed like 50 Q drop posts. And I was like, why would you do that? Like, you don't even need, they just call you the conspiracy general. Like, you don't even need to separate. You're not being president, or are you trying to?
Well, here's the thing. Everybody that denounced Q, that for example, he denounced Q on X-22. That's when we all were like, wait a minute, what's going on? And it wasn't just like Trump playing like, oh, I don't know about Q. But I guess they like me. It wasn't like one of those really vague things that Trump would do to deflect the questions around Q. It was specifically like, we're idiots for, following Q, and it's, the whole bit. We're like, hold on, dude. And then, like you said, it was after a bunch of Q proofs.
It's like, what are you doing? And then, we were good for your Where We Go When We Go All merch. We were good for your $8,000 auctioned off bats. We were good for your Q quilts. And then
that's who he was selling them to.
Yeah, Linwood really sold it for me when he had the conversation with him. And that was before he denounced it. And he was like, yeah, I believe it's a PSYOP, CIA. And, I was even running around saying blue anon. So I don't know. He's always been a registered Democrat.
Yeah.
So we never know, man.
This is just somebody thanking us. I'm covering your face right now with this big old quote. Sorry.
It's okay. I always put my head down because I'm reading.
Yeah. Thankful to have that Sned and Skript are making sense of so many things. Thanks, guys, very much. It's hard when you have nobody to talk to about this. Yeah. I actually had a neighbor in my apartment complex bring up who she is voting for. Kamala, of course. I just asked why, because she's black and a woman. I said, ever hear of adrenochrome? Go look it up. I wasn't on
TV.
I wasn't on TV. Yeah, exactly. They're not gonna know about it.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to, when people are talking about the introverts and inverted and all that stuff. you can't just come out and tell people about that because it blows their mind. And you're actually telling them some of these people have lifetime, idols that they worship like they're heroes. And you're like, hey, no, that's not a woman. There's an eggplant swinging there, or you're like, hey, Victoria's Secret is really Victor's secret, yeah. So the new people that are waking up, or they're not even waking up, you're just planting the seed. You can't just throw certain things at them. So it's hard. Like, cause I used to come out with the adrenochrome. I'm like, hey, did you see this? And that was me. I'm like, they're like, that's bullshit. It's a lie. I'm like, no, here's CYM. Look, CYM group. It's right next to Trump's building. They're downstairs in the basement. And you start showing people stuff like that. And they're like, oh my God. And they don't know how to react. So you shell shock people like that. So it is hard to find people. If you're at that level, it is hard to find people like that. So, over the years, I've gotten patience and I've learned to dumb down myself to newbies.
Right. Yeah.
Meaning, I'll talk about a little bit of doom, but it's not the end of the world. I don't want to, it's like, I got all the evidence in the world, but we can't do nothing until Trump opens it. What if Trump never opens it? So we're doomed. We're all going to die right now. They're going to rapture.
Right.
So it's like, it's the same concept. We don't want to think like that. We have to figure out ways, what we're going to do. There are solutions. Surety bonds is one of them. You can get the surety bonds for the schools. Those bonds, once you hold them in place and you actually get a hold of those, whatever district manager, not district manager, what do they call it? The superintendent. Yeah, like you get a hold of that, they're in trouble.
That goes back to the color of law, right?
Yes.
And you're basically saying that you're on the hook for like $1.2 million or something like that dollars if you
that violates our kids' rights or anything unconstitutional. You're going to be charged.
Right. We covered that years ago. I basically was showing that this is what you can do. You can tap into this color of law and start talking to people about it, and they're going to have to look it up and realize that they're liable.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to find the books for you. I do have these 3 books. But I don't have them here. I don't know where I put them. That kind of sucks. I moved, so it's like I don't know where the books are. But they're 3 books. I've shown them on my lives before, and they're little $5 books you can find on Amazon. But they break down the UCC code. They break down everything about your straw man, I think is one. But they're 3 little tiny white books. I found the Canadian version, but that's not gonna help us. I wanted to get those books, man, because that helped a lot reading that. I used to read like a page or 2 on my lives just to help people out. This is one of them. This is for like if people are in Canada.
What's it called?
So it's the same book. You can go to it's Common Law Court of Justice. This is basically what it goes down to. Let me find the other one. So this is Establishing the Reign of Natural Liberty, a Common Law Training Manual. Proclaim liberty throughout all the land until all the inhabitants thereof. Issued by the International Common Law Court of Justice. So there's a bunch of them. This is the 4th one, but there's 3 main ones that are white. I don't know where the hell I put them. So weird. It's a Mandela effect. No, but I've been going since like 5 this morning. I got to get up at 5 again, so I got to.
Yeah, let's close this out, man. I'm getting tired too. I really. What's that?
You feeling better?
I am. Thank you. Yeah, I was. What's that?
Did you ivermectin?
I did.
Me too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But it was weird. I stopped taking it and I had a relapse.
Really?
You started getting sick again? What's that?
You started feeling like you were getting sick again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to continue it. If you do a certain amount of dosage, you have to continue it. It has to be like a 2-week period. Like if you stop before the 2-week period that they give you or whatever they tell you to do it on, you can relapse like that. Head cold, that'll feel like you're back in it again.
Right. Exactly. That's kind of how I felt. Um, so listen, great stuff, man. Thanks for coming on, and I'm glad we were able to set some things straight. Folks, please share this out. And you can even
Sure.
tell people if they don't want to deal with the guilt nonsense to skip the first hour. You
Yeah.
know,
Fast forward.
yeah, just fast forward and get to the stuff, the good stuff, and basically, it's we've got this incredible time and space that we are in right now in human history, and I'm just grateful to be able to connect with people like yourself that have the vision, the 40,000 foot view, being in this as long as we have, being anons. And it's really like people are seeing like two people having a conversation that we wouldn't have had
No.
5 years ago, 6 years,
Hell
10
no.
years ago. You know what I mean?
Over with. We're gonna die. It didn't happen.
and and a conversation not just with all the doom and the gloom, but with hope, because they're the people that are untouchable, and we'll call it the Trump camp. He's been untouchable, man. He's Teflon, and
He
those
really
people
is.
are giving us comms that hey, it's okay, we got this.
It's
you
it's
know
it's kind of crazy though that he did do that today. I mean, there's more behind it. We're probably gonna find out a lot more.
Which, you mean Jack Smith coming out with that new indictment?
Yeah, because I mean everything that they've thrown at him. I don't know. Look at Alvin Bragg and Letitia James. They went after him. He's not broke.
No.
All we got to
He,
do is appeal.
what's that?
All we got to do is appeal.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're trying to make it happen before the next election. I
Yeah,
mean, before November. And because they know they missed on the they missed on the pew pew attempt.
hmm
They Biden, so they had to take Biden out. Now Kamala is like just a nightmare. They got to take her out if they got any shot of this whatsoever.
crazy.
And it's just like it's all, and then RFK jumps on board, and Tulsi Gabbard, and
Yeah, they really went for the neck, for the jugular,
yep,
because
yep,
just RFK endorsing him. I mean, it was like a big fu to the whole Democratic Party. The
yeah,
times are changing. Like uniparty is ending, where we should just all be cool. We should be able to vote for policy, not
yep.
because I'm
And
blue,
and
bro.
and it's not like Kennedy's gone Republican. He's gone
No,
MAGA.
no,
You
MAGA
know?
is completely different. Like where,
Yeah,
well, that's why they attack MAGA. They probably attack MAGA more than they attack the Republicans,
absolutely,
and vice
absolutely.
versa with the Democrats. They're like, we're not going to call out the Republicans today. We'll just call out Trump and MAGA. Orange Man bad and his whole
Mhm.
cult crew.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Shout out to
So
everybody in the chat too. I see everybody, man. Thank y'all for your comments, man. I appreciate y'all.
yeah, good stuff. And folks, you guys can follow Skriptkeeper at Skriptkeeper17, and www.scriptkeeper.com. Showing some love, get them a follow, and yeah,
Rumble too. I'm on a Script Keeper on Rumble.
and Skriptkeeper on Rumble. Yes, thank you. I had that up on another one here, I think. There it is. Skriptkeeper on Rumble. There you go. Good stuff, brother. Hey, let's do it again. Next time we'll maybe get into the black nobility, or even if something pops up, just give me a holler. Even if you want to pop on for like a segment or something, and we can, because you got to dive or something that happens, feel free. Let's be in touch.
I got you, man. I'll stay in touch with you anyway. I got
Yeah.
something to run past you later on after the live. Well,
Okay.
tomorrow. I'm going to bed.
Okay. All right. Good night, brother. Hey, thanks. Thanks for
Okay.
the time. Good night, everybody. Much love to everybody, and be well, and stay strong and keep moving forward. All right.
Got to
All
keep
the
going,
best.
guys.
All right. Good night.
Peace, bro.
Peace.